Hey everyone! Welcome to Necrobiotic One Shot Wednesday. My name is Anthony. I'll be your mechanist for this evening. You can find me on Twitter down below here at Praying the Plague. I've been on Weave the Tale the last month, doing a lot more stuff there. Very comfortable with that. I just like to take a moment and thank everybody associated with this so far. Mitch and everybody over at Penny for a Tale, for a fantastic, successful Kickstarter on Necrobiotic Hype. Um, Pre-order on BackerKit is available now, and you can check it out on. We'll have a command over here in the Twitch chat, but also we'll have it on the VOD and the YouTube video and Twitter. And check it out. It's a super fantastic narrative-focused game, and it is Force in the Dark. It's my first Force in the Dark game. I'm really excited about that too. And I'd also like to thank We the Tale for hosting us, and just it's just one big happy situation here. And so I just wanted to go ahead and introduce our cast members, our wonderful people that we have here today, and we'll be starting with our cable display.
Hey there, I'm Anna, aka Archival Dust Bunny. Pronouns are she, her, hers. And tonight I will be playing Rosa Zolo, who is a member of the militia. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm an LGBTQI plus advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG streamer. And you can find me on Twitter at Archival Dust Bun.
Awesome. And next we'll be going with Sammy Sosa.
Hello, my name is Sammy Sosa, Halo, whatever you guys want to call me, doesn't matter. I will be playing Gufo Valik, and I'm not sponsored by Coke. I just like drinking out of Coke cup.
Hype, thank you so much. Next we'll be going with One Shitty Part.
Hi, I'm Theta, aka One Shitty Bird. I will be playing Emile Hua, who is a architect. And if you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter at One Shitty Bird. I generally play Wednesdays over at another channel on a cyberpunk game.
Ooh, hype. And last but not least, our good friend Leopold the Just.
Feel like you don't know me well enough to know whether or not I'm least, but we'll figure that out as we play today. Anyway, I'm Leland/Leopold the Just. You can find me at Leopold the Just on all over the places because I've been consistent with my branding. I'm proud of it, so you can pretty much just find me anywhere. Let's see. Oh, I'm playing the militia archetype or class or whatever you want to call it. And my character's name is Clive Moore. He is a stern law enforcement member who takes no guff. Anyway, hopefully takes no guff.
Hopefully. Good. Happy to hear it. So, just a little bit of background establishing information. The year is 2078, and it has been about 20 years after the Great Hexacomb in the city of Florence, after a 30-year-long period of depopulation, the loss of life, famine, and generally the breakdown of civilization and society as we know it. For now, the known world rests within the city of Florence, enacting Last Bastion for humanity, where constructs reanimated from the remains of the previously fallen by these citadel of scientist aficionados, kind of able to piece back a piece of human civilization society together in this city. Not much is known outside of the walls, but a critical portion of it has become this technocratic society that's arisen in the wake of all of this destruction, this death. It's toned down, it's slowed, and humanity is in a neutral place, a gray area. There is very few people, able to be born. There's very few new members, but the people that are there, everybody knows each other. Life is sacrosanct. They treat constructs even though they have the faces and maybe some of the characteristics of their old family members, their neighbors, people they used to speak with, they treat them now like servants, sometimes working in factories, sometimes assisting in their kitchens and their homes. It's become a part of their everlasting, or of their daily lives. Um, Everybody dresses in the streets with these, geary and valve associated thematic clothes, um, and it's pretty large. It's larger than even with like multiple attachments and modules walled off towards the sides. One of the critical, if not the actual most important person in the establishing of Florence as this power, or really the entirety of the known world, right, able to survive these 30 and then 50-year and then 20-year period of decline, is Elisabetta Gori, and Elisabetta is the head of these citadel scientist medical professionals able to create wonders and miracles, regrow limbs and organs, in the place where they weren't before, in an effort to save every possible life. We start nighttime, main street of Florence, as Elisabetta takes the four of you on a tour of the city. Each of you in your own right has done right by the city, servicing it, one of its industries or its aspects, and making sure that you help you and yours keep everybody afloat, where everybody needs to pitch in the sort of extremely community necessary society, right? And she gives you a chance to introduce each other, since you might come from different walks of life, although you may not. And we can go in the same order like we did before, starting with Archival Dust Bunny.
Starting with me. Yeah. So Rosa is kind of average height, 5'6", athletic, slender build, blonde hair with a deep side part pulled over and undercut, deep green eyes, wearing a very pristine and put together militia uniform. People have probably seen her around the city, Clive especially has probably worked with her before. She can be very cheerful and excitable. When something happens, she's very serious and down to work, but when it's just a normal day, she's probably gotten on Clive's nerves a few times. Yeah, she's there excitingly watching and looking around, big eyes.
New beginnings. Gufo, Balik.
You all notice Gufo. He's a very, very heavy-set man. He is over 6'5". He has short brown hair with small brown eyes and even smaller glasses that are too small for his face. He has a pair of goggles around his neck. And on his hands, you can see little scars from whenever he's done his engineering and tinkering that he likes to do. And his jacket's very, very ruffled up, and his apron for being an engineer is scolded, and there's markings on it. And people know him around town as the guy who doesn't like to talk to other people, very reclusive to himself, and he's generally not the most agreeable person to be around, but he's dependable if you need something fixed.
Emil.
So Emil is this kind of tall, like maybe about 6 foot, woman. She's got this, her hair is dark and it's in this kind of bowl cut almost. She's not wearing glasses. She's this very just willowy figure, and is very put together. Like her clothes are nice. They're clearly something you would wear to a lab. So they're like long sleeves, long pants, closed-toed shoes. Standard procedure. If shit goes on, you don't want it ending up on your bare skin. And Emil works as a kind of necrobotanist, generally working in the necro sector, but particularly with plants. And she's a very excitable person. Anyone who's ever talked to her will know, like, she will talk at you and talk at you and talk at you, and she is happy to.
Super important in this new reality. And once again, last but not least, Clive Moore.
um, yeah, Clive is like a middle-aged man. But he looks like, like a seasoned security officer, but actually has like a really lowly position. It's a career that he decided to tackle later on in life. He grew up, in the slums for ages, just trying to get by on scraps, and found an opportunity for like a some sort of youth training camp type thing, and he lied about his age and managed to get through it. So he's just like a deputy, or like a, I don't know, whatever, like the lowest form of security officer would be called in this sector or whatever.
So malicious correct there.
Yeah, militia works. Okay, cool. Yeah. So whatever the lowest of that is, then that would be what Olive it, or so Olive. I thought that's what Olive. It's Clive. It's the font. It threw me off. I love it, but I thought my name was Olive for a second. But yes, Clive Moore, everybody. And he's like a try hard. So that's just one thing to watch out for.
So Greenhorn, who's excitable, happy to hear it.
Yep.
So the four of you are walking kind of down these, ancient streets, right? That have been here for, by that point, in that form in one way or another one, about 600 or 700 years, right? Cobblestone path, ancient stone, with the River Tiber running down the center, gas lamps, on the sides, kind of illuminating in this big cloud of steam vapor rising off, making everything so misty, you can't see anything. Now, at first glance, it looks pretty normal, right? Like what you'd expect from being there even now. But as you start to take a little bit of a closer look at, you start to see the differences, and what they've had to do to adapt. So you start to see, and first of all, it's quiet, right? Whereas once you'd expect this bustling metropolis, it's almost deafeningly quiet. Apart from the steps of the five of you walking along the cobblestone, with idle chatter. There's very little, like, garbage pails, cats, anything else. Right? It's eerie. You smell like this rusted, processed, acrid mist, heavier than the fog, um, kind of entering each of your nostrils, burning even a little bit. And you recognize it. You're familiar with what it is, and it's the smell of constructs whirring and activating their gears, and that they've passed through that area recently, or even that a construct has been, working around there even earlier in the day. Just can't ever get it out. It's soaked in the city at all times, constantly reminding everybody, um, about the situation they're in. But at this point, it's normalized, so you know, not much you can do about that. Elisabetta, on the right, points to this massive, domed, tiered building, looking, like a city unto itself within the already existing, fortress, a fort, in this last area of the known world. Um, she says, "This is the citadel of science. This is where me and my team, over the course of our long tenure in the building up of this fine city, have done what we needed to, um, and took advantage of brand new medical technologies that at the time that you were born might be even unheard of. But alas, we took them, and now every life is precious, yours especially. If you wonder why I've gathered each of you from different sides, aspects of this great city, that we all love and want to protect, uh, we can't afford to spend regimens on the task that I have for you. But in case you haven't seen it before, or at least if you haven't taken a moment to really gaze upon its majesty, I want you to know what you're fighting for." So as you continue along, eventually you reach, after showing you the common museums that lasted, armaments and different, whether they be medical stations or food stations, because farms have been finally increasing in production, whether they be inside or outside of the walls. There's like fertile crop, and in this like sea of weeds or non-edible material. I mean, you can see fruit, some of the first that you've seen in forever. Does anybody want some fruit? Tomatoes,
I would
perhaps?
love some food.
Please.
Absolutely.
Emil's
Yeah.
definitely making a
My
beeline for
character
all the
eats.
plants. Just to like play
So
with them even.
the carts are closed, like they have curtains over them. But Elizabeth says, "This city is mine, and with you fighting for us, it is yours." And she like takes the curtain off each of the carts, and it's just like all these like Tuscan vegetables that you commonly associate with like imported stuff. You can have as much as you like.
Yeah, my character for years of his life ate, um, you know, rat sandwiches, like leftovers of other people's rat sandwiches. So this is, you know, wow, this is crazy. I'm just gonna start tearing in to a tomato like it owes me money, you know,
Ufo's gonna
much like I would do
stand back
now
and
to a fresh
watch.
tomato, probably. Like,
I imagine Emil's probably worked with some of this stuff because botany. But like she's always excited to see, just to have the chance to eat more because it's just so shiny.
You helped grow some
Yeah.
of it, and you know what? As even though you do help develop it, you can taste test, but you've never had access to, like, you haven't necessarily seen the haha fruits of your labor, and now like you really. But you're right. You
no.
did have a hand in the creation of all this food, and so you do feel a kinship with it,
Emil's like, yes, I'm gonna eat it.
and you do.
Yeah, if she doesn't stop me, I'll probably pocket one or two tomatoes.
She offers a potato sack, like a little textile brown sack. Take them, take them.
Thank you.
Ufo's gonna
Like,
take this sack and he's gonna stick it in his pocket. He's not gonna put any fruit in it.
Emil's just gonna pile in apples. Like,
pop, 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 pop. So yeah, and you're able to take this cacophony, this the food, really is all of these roll down, and you just it falls. Some of you drop them, you pick them up, just so excited, finally see some of these again. And she says, "I'm happy. Now you see what we're fighting for." But Emil, even though your work is extremely important to what we do and creates all of this, this is only but one half of the equation, right? We need much more than what our city can hold within its walls. And so she leads you out, and it starts to turn from this like civilian relative like central business district aspect of a place, and as you start going down the street, it starts like slowly transition. You start seeing barricades, you start seeing more fortified walls, you start seeing barbed wire. Yeah.
So on our way out, I'm watching for just people on the streets, especially children, and all of those tomatoes I collected. I'm just like tossing them to people.
oh,
The little kids, like, this is, oh my, this is such a heartwarming scene to describe. So they, this group of children, approach you. It is roughly quiet, but because you're in the center and it is nighttime, some people want to enjoy it, and there are some there that you're able to kind of gather up with this, you know showcasing of fruits and vegetables that they would have never seen before, and they just start grabbing for it. They start hugging at your legs, and it just goes to show like how meaningful it is. These experiences that we might take for granted in a normal situation, or that you did even in the past, depending on how old your characters are. Um, that you haven't seen something like that in a long time. What you created, like, is a rare thing even in this city. So.
My character is
I
that
will pass out.
Ufo's gonna hold his pockets. He's gonna make sure no kid can come up and just stick his hand in the pocket and just steal something from him.
Okay.
That's kind of where
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's kind of where Clive is kind of at like a mental impasse right now. He thinks really loves like the heartwarming scene that he's witnessed, but like his training as of late has kind of gotten him to look at the populace in a sort of like on guard kind of way. So now he's like, he's sort of like expecting like a fight to break out among these kids that he's gonna have to like break up. So he's just kind of sad that it's tarnishing his perception of this event.
Okay, so in that case, you can still decide, or well, since you're actually staying neutral, it doesn't really change anything for you. It just kind of, you're almost like invisible because of how neutral you are. Valik, because you specifically are trying to like get by, in this selfish way, with these children who've never seen like this food before, they're gonna notice, right? And because there's only like 3 people like in the whole square, right? So they're gonna know, like they're gonna see you like with these big balls like jingling, on the side of your jacket, of like fruit and vegetables on the side. So they're gonna try and like pickpocket you essentially. Right, and they're gonna try and mischievously like little take one. So this brings us to our first play of a skill of the game. So we're gonna be doing this together all at once. I have a deck here too, and we can all get a chance to showcase off our cool playing cards and decks and tarot cards, because I think that's a fun part of the game. I'm using RoboCycle Viso cards. It's not sponsored, but I felt like it was a good way for it's a good matching for Necrobiotic. And if anybody wants to show off theirs, they can too before we get into it.
I have these sorry for the light. I don't, there we
No,
go.
it's fine. They're so translucent. They're super translucent.
There we go. Yes, these translucent plastic cards. These are the backs and the fronts here.
Wow. Okay. This is super cool.
They're blacklight effective. I don't have a blacklight on, so
nice.
I'm not really
good to know
getting that experience right now.
I got Bob Ross. Not sponsored. Has Bob Ross quotes.
Not sponsored by Bob Ross.
I wish.
I'm using the Women in Science Tarot deck. This one's of Dorothy Hodgkin, who was a biochemist.
Ooh,
I'm using
about that deck.
I'm using not sponsored the Golden Thread Tarot deck, which is hard to see in this light, but it's black and gold foil. Very pretty.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. So there's a lot of personality even with these deck of cards, and it's just be part of the game. So I'm glad we all showed that. So let's all take our first. Elisabetta notices a wind past us, and it takes everybody. Each of us draws 6 cards, and the GM doesn't really have to draw them, but I just want to be part of these. Just want to be part of these turns.
Yeah, join the fun.
Yeah, it's fun cards.
Nice.
Questions on mechanic. So the militia has the extra gear with the queen. That's allows you to have 7 cards in your hand instead of 6. Does that include on this draw, or you can just go up to 7?
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's
okay.
Sure. That sounds perfect. I would imagine it just increases like your maximum card hand size.
You just helped me.
This is just supposed to draw to max. Yeah. This is just supposed to draw to max. So you guys draw to max exactly.
Excellent. Thank you for the free card. I wouldn't have thought about asking.
No. Good for Rosa. Good for Clive. So those are the cards. Okay. So Gufo, roll me a steam. Let's do a. So they're gonna try and pickpocket you, and you give me a reaction steam check. So we're looking for a value of 8. Right now you can only put 1 card down. If you have anything that lets you put more cards down, great. So we're looking for a clubs. We're looking for the suit is clubs, and we're looking for or eights, or both. Sorry, I think you're muted. No, it's all good. It happens.
I don't have any clubs in hand at the moment, so
All right. So definitely yeah, no. So definitely a consequence there, and that'll be a. I wonder what this would be. So there's two that are applicable here as a consequence: consumption and loss. Consumption is that something gets used up, and loss is that you lose something. It's kind of both, but I'm going to use consumption here because the child will very literally take the tomato and just start passing them out like by the bushel to their friends and just start huffing them. Start off tomatoes. You lose about half your tomatoes.
This is a
Who
lesson
can
on
look at them
greed.
Who feels you look up and said,
Yeah.
you could have asked for those?
They were like, you weren't willing. We could tell, like, what do you think? Whatever. And then just to keep eating, red faced, covered with seeds all over their mouths, and they just run away, and back to their respective areas because it is getting a little late. That's great. Um, does anybody else have anything to do in the town square before we head out in this piazza?
No, my character
No?
ate all of his vegetables earlier.
Yeah, you just saw all this happen. You just saw Gufo lose half the tomatoes, and you're just like enjoying your food. You have a little show while it's happening. Some generate your own
Yeah,
fun.
it's technically not a crime, I don't think.
No, it's fine. It's food. It's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. It's almost like the food thing way supersedes like the crime aspect of it or whatever.
I know, right?
Who feels gonna look back at this supposed guard and be like, "Let this happen?"
We'll make a report later then.
Oh, Clive, go off. It's fine. You don't have to be so serious all the time.
I wasn't actually going to file the report. I was just going to put it in my pocket.
And these
I hand out
these
all
two
the tomatoes I took. I don't keep any for myself.
Yeah, of course. That's awesome. And you two find constabularies, move on past and enjoy, the unity that you've helped create in the city. So, moving out, and Elisabetta kind of talks about how there's been a shortage recently, even though they use partially human remains for the constructs. They also need a large portion of regular industrial materials, right? The kinds of which they don't necessarily get. Um, Appliances, vehicles, robotic components, electronics, even and it could be anything common to uncommon, from like a coil of a fridge to like a quantum annealer, which I don't know what that is, but that sounds super cool. So it seems necessary for something in the future. So you get taken to this kind of like industrial scrap heap, a little bit north of the town, northwest of the town, attached in an almost like Pentagon style, addition. Now, immediately upon getting there, Rosa and Clive, being militia members, both of you notice the collection of people you see in front of you. This is a large gathering of people. Like, it's like 20, 30 people. It's huge for a place like Florence, even, for any particular reason. And you can tell by on the right, their armor, and on the left, their laboratory gear. Actually, Emil, you would know even better. The laboratory gear on the left would be the techno fonts on the right, and the techno sophists on the left. Sophists being like the elite echelon of like intelligentsia, like in the city, and kind of like an inner circle, with the fonts being like elite units in the army. So if the militia is constabulary, the army is, it's armed force, and then these guys are like going outside the walls on expeditions almost like legends to you, right? Like, for the work that they do. Each of you know the tales outside of the city, is filled with like raiders, frantic and frenzied constructs that have fled or something's happened to them. Some say they even come from somewhere else. And in front of you, you see a technosophist and a font arguing. A techno font by the name of Rosa as well, like General Rosa, basically. And it's
It's a
and the
good name.
sophist and Emil, like you see like a head sophist Luca, and they're arguing about what the best way to go around it is. And Elisabetta kind of introduces you. Now, everybody here, they don't get along, and they've been slowing me down for far too long. I'll let them explain what it is that's happening, but long story short, I don't think they can do the job, and in fact, sending them all would be a gross misuse of our resources, which is why I've selected you heroes of the city. Elisabetta bids your farewell. Choose on a bit of biscotti, which is like kind of a rarity. Like it's hard to get biscotti like 40 years, 50 years after they stop production, right? So it's almost like a class like superiority thing that she's trying to exude on even these elite people, to keep them in line, not you guys. And she walks back onto the city with her armed technophont guard. And so you guys can speak to them if you wish.
If things get too rowdy here, we might need to be ready to assist in calming things down, I believe. I'm saying
Perhaps.
that to
It may not
Rosa.
get there, though.
I can't find
Hopefully
anyone. That's all for you to do. I make complaints.
So what I will say is that if we're trying to calm them down, then that would be like something about empathy, being empathetic. So if you're trained in empathy, that would add one card that you can put down. But this would be generally like a flesh check. So you can roll if somebody else would like, or not roll. You can play the skill. If anybody would also like to play another flesh play if they want to, that's fine too.
So it's a success as long as it matches the suit.
Or
with a
is an
value,
8.
but-
It's so there is like a level of success that you need. I'm keeping that hidden, but you can just if you get an 8, it's a success, and if it's the suit, it's another success. So having both in one card would be 2 successes.
Got it. Okay.
And then you can decide how you use it with that table below.
Okay.
And Gufo, I think you're muted. Sorry about that. No, it's all good.
All right, and you said this is like a flesh empathy, or just a flesh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it is a flesh, but like if you have empathy, you could play here, and you could put another card down if anybody has empathetic.
Well, Gufo has empathy.
Cool.
And
So
Also,
let's
yeah,
resolve.
to
Emil might.
play. Oop, never mind. I'll let someone else go.
Sorry, we'll
Yes,
resolve
ma'am.
Clive, then we'll do Gufo, and then Emil.
Clive's gonna step back as soon as he notices someone else stepping in. Clive doesn't have a good way with words. He's just very confrontational, and so he knows himself well enough to know that he might make the situation worse.
Okay. So you can do that if you like. I will also say before anything else happens, sub goals and retweet goals. Plenty of ways to give boons here. If the wind earlier that gave the players cards can come again, just saying, right? So, and it seems like we've reached our sub goal. I'm actually just gonna say that everybody's hand size increases by 1 because I didn't think that was gonna happen so fast, which is awesome.
Hey.
So Rosa, Clive 8, Gufo, Emil 7. Each of you can draw one at this time.
Excellent.
But so Clive,
And
you
Gufo, yeah, you can go.
pass priority over to me, right?
Yes, because so I assume. All right, so basically, the way it played out sort of in my head is that I start to walk up to talk to them, but then I see your character sort of walk up and start to open your mouth, and I sort of just step back and like slink back with my
Alrighty.
with my hand on Truncheon.
Well, then, since this is a flesh, I'm going to play a King of Hearts. I believe that's how it works, right? A face card is good.
So the other ones do provide value, but a king is actually a it's like
I
a
forgot,
dud,
I
and
read
then
that.
and then you re-roll. So, but then when you pick something, or like you put something else, but then it's almost like a little bit of a complication. It's not a full-on consequence, but it's a it's a complication. So,
Okay,
I'm
well,
gonna say
I've
that you were gonna. I'm, I'm, I'll let you play in a second, but like I'll let you do the play in a second. But basically, like you're going up to them and you're like, Clive, you know, like right, and as you're starting to do your speech, you just trip and get a bunch of mud on your face. You know, but you get back on your feet and you keep on with the empathy, right? He's like with the appeal to their heart.
That's hilarious.
If you wanted to
so
do that
it has
play.
to be over 8.
It can, yeah, over 8 in value, or the suit being a hearts. The suit has to be hearts here. We're looking for a suit.
Okay. Then, since I have the thing in empathy, I'm going to play. I can play 2 cards then, correct?
You can play 2. That is correct. And if they're both perfect, that's 4
Okay.
successes, for example.
Alrighty. So I'm going to play these 2 cards.
What are
The
they?
2 is the 2's diamonds. Man, okay.
2 of diamonds.
But
Okay.
that does equal up to 8, so that should just be 1 success, right?
So it was a
I'm
2 of
doing this
diamonds and a
right?
what? It was a
And
2
a
of diamonds
6
and
of
what was the other card?
spades.
And a 6 of spades.
A
Yeah,
six-
that is correct. Yep, that is correct.
Alright,
So
cool.
you were able to play 2 cards. You played 2 cards. You got it. You got a success. That was enough. Lucas Esterosa, stop it. This is negative ill will that we don't need, especially amongst this elite division. We're the pride of the city, and you know what? So are they. If Elisabetta brought them here, we trust her. I trust her. You know, and you should too. Rosa puts down like her like minigun. This, you know, ridiculous piece of tech. You know, in this world. You know, like custom, right? Has like has like ornate rose like motifs on it, you know, and you can't tell if it's like gold or silver, maybe both, in some areas, or white
That's
gold, you know, kind
incredible.
of thing. It's beautiful, right? She puts it down. She's like, okay, so we'll hear them out. You know, we'll see why they can do what we can't. And she introduces, you know, herself. Hi, my name is Rosa, and these are my technophants. Hup! And then immediately, like 8 people behind, you know, the other 15 of her crew, like lock and load. You know, you as militia members, Rosa and Clive, are like, you know, you've seen them do this. They're organized. Maybe you think it's a little gaudy after, you know, the 400th time, but maybe not. Up to you. Um, Rosa describes how my technophants were already stretched so thin, and we're trying to explore other areas and keep our farms safe. Raiders that attack in the night, and you hear like, you're far enough outside of the city, outside of the walls, that you hear like gunshots, like somewhere, like just somewhere, and you know, it's very clear that it's not as safe as you thought it was, and you know, all 4 of you haven't really been outside the city long enough, or you know, to really get a feel for it. You've always tried to stay safe, you know, for the most part, even you militia members, because you try to defend the city. However, she does say that her team found something important, and she kind of like waves behind her and like lets Luca talk. Luca says, I'll take it from here. What these barbarians, you know, and he like fixes his gas mask and like tightens it, may even like changes out the filter because it's too much like rust and acrid burning in the processing plants here in the scrap, in real time super fast. Says they found something that they say looks exactly like the scrap about 30 miles southwest of here. You tell me how we haven't found anything like that. We've been all around this area, especially so close. Or at least they have. But we thought that we scrounged everything we possibly could from around here. We need somebody, a small force, and that's why we're meeting here at night, to move in and verify whether or not this has the industrial resources that we need to continue making constructs and uphold the quality of life that we have here so that my Sophis and I can continue doing what we do. Rosa and I don't agree on how to get there. I think that the tech is important, and she thinks that securing the perimeter is important first so we can establish it maybe as a second settlement. Or at least a satellite outpost. But really, it's in your hands. So we want to hear what you guys have to think, have to say about it.
I've always been looking for a challenge since I started doing security work. I think this might be it. I'm curious, though, what makes you go putting all of this responsibility on a group of strangers? And what's all this hero talk? Keep calling us heroes. Is it just a tactic of talking us up? Get us excited for the gig?
They both look at you sternly, and they're like, what part of this do you think is a joke? We mean it.
Oh.
You are actually somebody that we trust and depend on. And so you really quickly realize that this expectation that you have, that there's like this structure where you think there would be like more separation with value that they assign to you as a militia member, with them being these elite members. None of that is there. There's like it's a lot of humility, and to the point where you feel like maybe even like they really believe what they're saying about you, like they really respect you that way, because they think that you keep up the city afloat in just as an important ways that they do, or like similarly at least.
I could just be too cynical.
They look away, and they're like, "What about the others?"
Clive, I think you're just selling yourself too short. You shouldn't put yourself down like that. Haven't you ever wondered what's outside the walls, though? But as far as this, whether you choose to make it an outpost or just get the scrap, it sounds like you just need us to go and verify it, right? That seems like what our mission is tonight. So that's
exactly. We don't need any fighting. That's why we're sending a small group. Rosa chimes in to Rosa and says, "Hi, Rosa. My name is Rosa. Good name.
It's a good name.
It's a good name." Great. Now, I'm glad that we've had that solidarity. And she like clings her combat armor against like your slightly less reinforced like combat armor. And you can actually see that in the background of this image. That's on the right side. That's essentially what she and Luca look like. And also kind of like the gear that they're going to give you guys. So she says, yeah, it's all you need to do is go ahead and scope it out. Try to avoid combat as much as, try to avoid like fighting as much as possible. There's raiders, there's frenzied constructs. We don't necessarily want you to get hurt. Because life is important.
How likely
way
do you
more
think
important
it
like
is?
Sorry, go ahead.
How likely do you think it is that we're going to get attacked?
Well, we're doing it at night because the constructs usually tend to be the most prevalent at midday when we're out foraging or sending parties. We haven't seen any that our scouts have reported back for tonight. However, raiders are on the prowl, as you heard, and you recall the gunshot that you heard 15 minutes ago by that point.
What do you know about this cache so far? Like, how big is it? Did you send any preliminary scouts out to just check it out? Or is it just a suspicion still?
So they did confirm that it was there, but they don't know why they found it so recently when they expected, when they feel like they searched that area well. So something was keeping them away, or distracting them, but like they didn't find it until recently. So
Mhm.
like if you look behind you, it's kind of like an old style industrial factory with smokestacks and like rusty railways, railings and that kind of thing, and like outcroppings on the side. Um, but there's like a mountain of like scrap and tech and workstations and like bridges going area to area connecting it all. Um, but what they say it is that it's just the same factory setup, the same like prefabricated structure,
Mm.
but none of the extra stuff that they've added to it since they moved in. So they're like, why is it so similar, right? Not the whole thing, just that particular like factory. So they're surprised about twofold. It's the fact that it's the same prefabricated structure, but they're also just surprised that there's so much like that there could be a lot of similar industrial materials inside.
Mhm.
They don't know.
Well, sounds fun. Want an apple? Emil still has the sack of apples.
Luca drops his like mostly like if Rose is the relaxed one, like it'll be okay. I'll take care of it with my guns. Luca's definitely the more like, really hyper focused. Doesn't want to let things go, and just very like itchy about things. You literally see like two major knots in his shoulders, like unwind when you and like his eyes, like his pupils dilate immediately, like he's staring at a golden idol, right? Which in the old world would have been everything, but you've given him something far more valuable. He takes a bite and he says, "You're a necrobotanist, aren't you?"
Yes. I worked on apples. Well, I worked on other foods, but I worked a lot on apples. I quite like them. They're good. Okay.
What I do because the Citadel asked me to. Nay, because they need me to. What you do is the future of everybody here. And in a way,
that's sweet.
I think it's probably way more important than what I'm doing right now. At least the research you're doing. Like
No, that's too cute. No, you do.
no,
cool
he's like
stuff.
he just
I
starts
like your stuff. It's
starts
cool.
eating it. He just starts eating it. Like scarfing it down. He has the same expression on his face that one of the children had in the square. Like age does not matter here. Like it's that powerful. Causes the same wonderment. Rosa and the rest of the technophants like swoon behind their combat visors. You can't see them. It's like like blushy emojis like outside of the visor. And they're just, and they put their rifle on their shoulder. Oh my god, wow, what? And they're still open to questions, but if there's nothing else, we can, they'll gear you up, give you some rations, and send you off. If you need
my character has
if
a
you needed
question
any rations.
for. My character has a question for Emil.
Sure. Yeah.
So, they say I overheard that you're a necrobotanist. Is that what? What is that
Yes.
exactly? Is
I
always thought
mostly
that.
just work with. Huh?
I was just gonna say, is that where you like use bodies for like, fertilizer? Is that kind of like the same thing?
A little bit, maybe. Sometimes it's mostly just trying to like bring back a lot of the stuff that died, or making a lot of it more vital and like sometimes longer lasting because things die quickly, and that kind of sucks sometimes when you want to eat food. So
All of this is very scientific. I'm just gonna say that I believe you, but thank you very much for working to make food more readily available, especially after eating this
I mean, I
tomato
mostly just do it because the
earlier.
plants are cool. They're like so
Yes.
colorful. A lot more colorful than corpses.
Oh,
Corpses, not very colorful, I'm afraid. Very
Oh no,
brown.
especially once they've become waterlogged.
Yeah. Sometimes they get green because of, or white because of like molds and stuff, but like
Oh, yes.
it's not
Also
very
very
colorful.
scientific.
That's kind of why fruit's so fun, because like this is so red.
Can I have an apple?
All right. That's enough talking about
Yeah.
dead bodies.
Meanwhile,
come on, we're gonna see plenty.
a construct sweeping dust out of the rust yard passes by you, and it's like a horrid like rusted stench. And
When it walks by,
you know,
Goofo's gonna.
sorry.
We really need to give some of the constructs baths, don't we?
It's a dead body, and I don't
just
think
hose
it's
him
gonna
down.
help with the smell.
Perfume?
Cover
I
in
don't
some-
know.
He just walks along,
Covering them in some essential oils, and after a good hose down,
I feel like to make essential oils, we'd need more plants, unfortunately, and we do not have enough plants yet.
You see on like as he finishes passing you, you catch like the slightest hint of pine, and you look, and like on the back of his uniform is like it's stitched in. Looks like a car freshener.
that's amazing.
with the
A lot of
word
help
Luke
that
on it.
does.
And Luca looks. He's like, I know, but like, there's only so many,
I
and they
don't
only
think
last
that's
for so
enough to
long.
like. Maybe
Me neither. I don't think it's enough either. Clearly,
I don't think it's
but
enough.
I have to do something.
We could like. Oh no! I feel like there has to be plants out there. Like I've heard in the old days they had things that really could cover up smell, but like we'd have to recreate those. Should maybe think about that.
Most of it was with artificial substances. Those would be rather hard to recreate without the original formulas.
That's true too. But at the same time, that's what Rose is here for. Get me those, and I can make them, right? So it's it's that symbiotic relationship that keeps the city going, and you're about to see it firsthand. So they don you in this like combat gear, like the full one. So the militia drops like you can set aside like your slightly less guarded version, get like the full standard army variant. The necrobotanist and the tinker will receive it as well, Emil and Gufo respectively, along with some
In this is like out of game thing. In my character's inventory, it says I have a chariot.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's fun. I was about to get to that. Outside of the city, you see constructs, okay? But they're oxen. They're like bovine, horned, like metallic horned, marble-eyed oxen constructs pulling an iron chariot with enough room for 5, actually. And so the 4 of you are able to hop in. Rosa and Luca, impressed at the Tinker's ability. Because a chariot's like a huge thing. It really helps with travel. It's difficult to get, and oxen constructs are difficult to make, and even rear sometimes. So having that is a sign of status unto its own right, and they're very like, wow, like at least you don't have to go walking. And everybody can hop in if they want. Yep.
Kufo's going to
Riding
be
with
the first
style.
one over.
I'll sit in the back, keep watch.
Okay.
On the rear.
I'll sit back there too.
you know.
And I'm looking
Okay.
at this new armor. I'm gonna smack Clive in the shoulder to ting it together. This is so much
Boom.
nicer than ours.
Much nicer. Smells nicer too.
Yeah.
Speaking of smells.
Yeah. The pads move a little bit. They lock, and you get that good camaraderie.
That's what happens when you have an engineer working on things,
It's really heavy.
not zombie robots.
Oh,
You all do take a look. You all do take a look at your armor, and you like check under the tag, and it says like "by Gufo" in like beautiful cursive, like beautiful calligraphy. Art, like and insert joke about designers never going extinct.
It's just a little pair of goggles. That's how you know that he was there for it.
This is a Gufo original.
fashion is important in the city. So you will be able. It's gonna have many reasons that you'll get many like looks and oohs and ahs upon returning to the city with the gear.
How long does it take to make one of these, like armor sets?
It depends. It depends on
Like
how much.
Emil asks.
It just depends on the amount of resources I have, how fast I need to be done, how much I'm getting paid to do it. But these pieces, these are fairly simple, other than my carving, so they don't.
So far, you've been getting paid in cherry tomatoes, very small. Just enough to keep you going, but not enough to really satisfy. So, hence
I may
the
be a very picky eater, but cherry
the
tomatoes,
tomato episode.
they tickle my fancy.
Trying to not get scurvy. I see. It's good.
Yeah. It's important, yeah. Agriculture is super important in a beefless world, because the beef's going somewhere else. So
Where's the beef?
I know where it is.
The old vegetarian.
It's close to that. Rat sandwiches are a delicacy, but unless you're not a fan, like Clive was saying earlier, if you're not a fan of the rat sandwich, maybe something else might be might be better. So moving along the carriage. Yeah, so many. Moving along, and you kind of see the lights, the gas lights in the mist of the city finally give way to this celestial dome above you. Beautiful stars, barely lit, no light pollution. A sight that you'd never see in a central area like this, that you can remember, right? I mean, even prior to the full degradation of everything, some of these lights still worked, and in distant areas were still on, and slowly over the decades, one by one, have gone out, leaving fully overgrown territory retaken by nature.
The people of the old world must have lived in paradise compared to what we are now. If they
Try not to live in the past, especially not one of your own.
I don't live in my own past. I like to live in the worlds.
Emil, I'm sorry, I think you're muted.
Emil's like, it wasn't really ever our past. We weren't even alive for it.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
so some, I don't know everybody's age, but it could be from 60 to 20, right? And so a 60-year-old has a very different opinion of human history up to this point than a 20-year-old, right? And I know we didn't establish ages, but you're right. The majority of who's alive now necessarily hasn't been alive for the full brunt of the death wave. So you're right. A lot of it is lost to time.
Were you around for that? She'll ask at Clive.
Well, my character's probably like 45. I don't know how long ago would I have been
Still
a
pretty
kid
good.
when it happened.
Yeah, you would when you would have been a kid when it was reaching like it's the pinnacle of how bad it got. So like when your first memories are like cities collapsing.
It honestly defined my youth so much. I don't even think about it too much anymore. I mean, I don't remember much, but I was alive. I was a child. A child trying to stay alive.
I mean, that's what we're still doing now, trying to stay alive.
Oh, of course, every day.
I don't want to become one of those robotic machines. I'll die before that happens.
It's very likely to happen after your death, I imagine, whether you want.
You're still serving the city. It's another way to give back to the city and the community.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Attached.
It does give me the creeps, but it is important.
Oh, they're not that bad.
So you all do have some context on this. Attached to the inside, like of the chariot, is the sort of like religious text that encapsulates all the laws that you know. And so you know it by the name, the Codus Scientificus. and it has both laws that you must abide by, interpretations of the law, and also like how who to who is like who's the executive basically branch and who can do what. So you as especially the militia members would know. Gufo, you know it because you have it framed chariot for some reason, and Emil they teach you because along with the other this because you need to know what you can and cannot violate. So the most like the highest law in the land is that after you die, you have to be like you immediately have to be shipped off for construct defying. So it's not a question of like, oh, I'll die. Yeah, you will die before it happens to you, and then it will for sure. Like is kind of currently what is currently what happens. But
Jump in
this
a
is something
volcano.
that
That'll solve it.
yeah,
Or
it's something
die
that you
outside
bond
the
To the
over.
city.
buzzards.
Exactly.
Die
You
by being
joke
burnt to
about it.
death. That's an option. Get like slaughtered out here. If you get slaughtered
Not
out
one
here
blood, but
far
at least
enough, they may
gone.
not find your body, and then by the time they get around to it, you'll have decomposed. Like, there's some ways to avoid it, I suppose, but...
They're out of line, but they're right.
This is so funny to me because this is like the highest law of the land, and like the moment that everybody here gets like some resources and a chance to get outside, it's like, oh, we're never doing that, right? We're definitely gonna sacrifice these resources, right? No way we were ever buying into that. Okay, all right, just make sure we're all on the same page here. That's what it seems like. Um, so that's it's like the highest heresy, but I'm glad that you as a group you share this, you have this feeling.
5 seconds in, we're already heretics, but that's not surprising.
Who's driving the chariot?
Gufo probably would be since he made sure to get in first.
All right then. So make me a Steam check, or if you have a quirk, whether that be your jack or your queen or something that's related to detection, perception of a situation, you may hop in with that. Or honestly,
Okay,
if anybody's sitting, and facing forward, then you can also make the same check.
Okay, so I'm assuming misanthropy wouldn't aid me in this.
What is it?
Oh,
Actually,
that's just hating people.
sure. No, yeah, but you know what? Sure, I'll relate that. That's fine. That's fine. If you want to use
Alright,
gear
I'll-
instead of that, that's fine.
I
So
would
we're in
much
with
rather
a gear.
use gear.
So yeah, so with gear we're looking for
Or wait,
spades. We're looking for-
okay. Never. I misread the card.
Steam
No.
is clubs.
No matter what,
No, it's
I'll
okay.
be
So-
able to get past it. So
okay.
I
Okay, I mean you
this is one
choose.
success.
Steam is clubs. Yeah, well, I am keeping that hidden, but
Mhm.
so Steam is clubs and gear is spades, and you just tell me how many
Alrighty.
successes you get. After you
I am
put down all
going to
the cards you
play a 10 of clubs, so I'm assuming that's 2 successes.
That's 2 successes. Great.
And do I
Okay.
draw a card after I play a card or no?
No.
Okay,
We
just
will
wanted to
get
make
to
sure.
how yeah, that's fine. We'll get to how we refresh cards soonish. That's important. So, and so was this the oh, this is the clubs.
Yes.
An engineer. You know a contraption when you see one. And you see a very like hastily put together, not at all subtle, thick like iron wire just in the middle of the road, and it's like it is sharp, so if the constructs go through it, like they'll start like their metallic portions will start grinding against like the wire, so you have a chance to kind of like slow it down.
Gufo's gonna slow it down and then come to a halt, and then he's gonna ask one of the people in the back so he doesn't have to push past them. There's a wire in the road. Can one of you guys get rid of it or move it?
Somebody check it out.
Yeah.
That's
Wait.
funny.
Oh no, I'm not muted. Never mind. I thought I was muted.
No, you weren't muted. No, you weren't muted. You're good. And so,
None of you all feel qualified enough, then I just have to scoot past you all. But...
who'd like to get
I'm
out
not
there
very
and make this
strong,
background
but I
of
can.
ours? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not very strong, but I can keep an eye out over whoever does it, and I'll pull forward my
move it.
my repeating crossbow.
Ooh, okay, nice. So you pull out your repeating crossbow. You're wearing this combat armor in the background, and you step out into this misty wood. And you basically, this scene that's happening in the background is exactly like what you look like getting out. You know, like, or the same like format and the same background. Of course, not the actual person, but like the uniform. So
I couldn't possibly have my qualifications questions, and could I? I suppose I'll move it and just hop down off the thing and take my sonic truncheon out and walk over.
Just in case, before he like touches it, Goofo's gonna take out his hydraulic mount and hold it in his hand just in case something decides to jump out at them.
okay, everybody's getting ready. Emil, would you like to stay in the chariot for now?
Yeah, Emil's definitely staying in the chariot and just kind of like
Okay.
staying on standby. They don't have like she doesn't have a weapon. She can't fight, so she's just like, "Tell me what it is. Is it cool?"
It's a wire.
Yeah,
I'm getting out.
And you're behind like, you know, strong iron chariot walls. Like, it's good cover. It's a good way to stay safe if you're without arms.
What do I move this with? A stick? Or my truncheon?
Yeah, the truncheon is fine. Let's say
What's safe?
this would probably be like I'm gonna say a steel check. Not because it's like hard to disarm, but it's tough. It's like tough wire, so it'll need a bit of like force to get it cut.
Steel check, huh? Cool.
Mhm.
Athletics? Okay. I don't have...
Yeah, athletics.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any... I do have a rank in athletics, but I don't have any cards that are diamonds.
Applicable. You don't need diamonds
Um,
as long as it's higher than an 8 for at least one success.
Oh, I don't have anything higher than an 8. I have a... You said if I played the king, it would... Oh yeah, never mind. There was a whole thing about the king.
Oh yeah.
But it's a good way.
Speaking
But it's a
from
good way to cycle
experience.
cards.
Yeah,
you are correct
wouldn't
about that,
recommend
but it is a good
using
way to
key.
cycle cards.
Okay.
It's pros and cons. Pros and cons.
So I'm sorry if I'm just not caught
No,
up
no,
on
not at all.
exactly what to do.
What the king
Hmm.
does?
Well, no, you just
So-
okay. So I need to. The card would need to be an 8 or higher, or
Yeah.
a diamond, right?
Yeah,
What if
or a
I have
diamond, that is
neither of
correct.
those
Mhm.
things?
Then the consequence occurs.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Well, tell me what the
'cause
consequence
right,
is.
because yeah, so you're trying to do an you're trying to do an action. Yeah, you know, can't play any card. I-
I have the king.
yeah, exactly. So you can use that. It's still. I would say that it's better than nothing.
Okay, cool.
If you,
What? All right. So
So
what does that do exactly?
what is your flaw with the king?
Ostracism.
Okay. So you leave the carriage in a rushed way. And you try and cut the wire, but you realize it goes longer than you initially thought. And it's not really side to side, it's like slanted up ahead down the road. The consequence is that you become isolated from your fellow Florentians.
Got it.
And then now you can draw a card, like you can discard the king and draw another card and tell me if that works. So that's that's like the first complication, but let me see if you're able to actually still cut it or not.
Okay, the card I drew was the Jack of Hearts. So
Ooh, and what's your value
uh value 2
for the jack?
for street
For the jack,
urchin.
okay.
Yeah.
For street urchin, okay. So you're used to like military, not to militia stuff and being inside the city, and it's a lot more like clean. It's a lot more put together. There's a lot less like hazardous waste and stuff that you can hurt yourself with. So you're not really used to like to this like high level of like wire that material that you're not super familiar with. You can't cut it,
Yeah.
but you start to hear rustling in the bushes behind you as a shadowy figure in like ragged rebar makeshift armor like gets behind you and puts in like what you feel is like a sharp thin object inside in the middle of the torso plate where there's like an opening
Yeah.
to kind of get in there. You're isolated currently, so
What
it'll take a little bit of time before somebody, when I say time I just mean like somebody
was
has
I
to make an
stabbed or
active
am I
effort to
being
get to you. No, no, no,
I'm
no, no.
being held up?
So he whispers to you. Yeah, so he whispers to you, and he's like, "All right, wall dweller. You think it's so shiny behind those places, don't you? Give me all the food you have. We saw you shipping in carton tomatoes a couple days ago, and we've been parked out waiting for a transport out. I hope you didn't eat them all," he says.
Well, I I did actually eat all of the tomatoes that I personally had, but I've got a friend over here, a couple of friends that have some apples. Do you like apples? Perhaps my life is worth a few apples to you. They're fresh as hell, I promise.
Okay. Alright. Fresh as hell. It's a good line to say. Okay, so before we resolve that, and that's a great idea. Emil, Rosa, Gufo, you have a chance to either look for others, or if there's any other people hiding, or to try and look for Clive, which you see is behind a little bit of mist. Who wants to do something?
I think Emil's probably just looking around in general, like, is there people around? Because Emil's not gonna get out of the cart, so she's definitely, I think,
Okay.
but she's definitely just like, I can't fight, and we are in the middle of nowhere, in the dark, and there's a weird wire on the ground. That seems weird. I don't like that.
Okay. Rosa?
UFO.
I've I've been keeping an eye out since I was covering Clive as he did that. Did I see this figure step up behind him? Or
Okay. Okay. Good. So let's do this. Okay. So Emil, you're definitely gonna like look through the windows to try and look out for other like bushels or figures, but you can tell that because it's so misty, because you're inside, and because the windows are not necessarily perfectly clean, even like and it's dark, like all these factors are coming that you can't really see much. You can try to do a steam play for me if you'd like, but it will be difficult if you don't step out. Rosa, you can do a steam play or gears or do you have any jack? Would your jack or your queen apply here in any capacity? Your training, I just want to see. Likewise, Emil, same thing. If you have any
they
like
would not, but I do have
No?
training in readiness.
in
I
red.
was
Okay,
hoping to
great.
use.
Yeah, I would. That'd be perfect. So yeah, do a steam check with 2, and you can put 2 cards down. Emil, likewise, if you have any um, jack or queen that applies, you can also use that instead, and that might be a little easier.
I do have, like, proficiency in perception.
Oh, okay. That's perfect. All right. Yeah. So that's okay. Great.
So I can play
that's gonna
2
make
cards then, right?
it 2 cards. Yes. So both
Then
of
can
you
I
can
play-
2 cards, and let me know how many successes you get, and then I'll tell you what happened.
Okay, then I'll play. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll play two cloves, two steam, a 5 and a 4. That's what I have on hand.
And they're both clubs?
Yeah, they're both clubs, and it's a 5 and a 4.
Okay, so you got 3
can't
successes.
Fully, like, it's a different. Yeah. Would it be
No, that's great.
5 or 3? I'm confused because it's a sweet success.
A sweet success?
Yeah, because I'm playing 2.
Oh yeah. So
like,
you got one success for each club, so that's 2.
Okay.
And then the total value of them is over 8. So then that's another success.
Oh yeah.
So it's a value. You got 1 value success and 2 sweet successes, which is great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then Rosa, how about you?
I have 2 successes. I have a value success and a sweet success. And I want to aim for, because I don't want to kill him, I want to hit him in the shoulder that he's holding his weapon with, trying to knock him back or drop the weapon. I just yell, Clive, don't move!
So this is going to be a fun, this is where we're going to start to use the table, and this is going to be a great place to use it because there's, between both of you, 5 successes. So let's go down to the, So let's start with Emil for the max perception, and then Emil can call out with additional information if she finds any, and then pass that on to Rosa and Gufo as well, right? To maybe make it even easier for you. So what would you like to use your successes on, Emil? You can do a persistence, accuracy, or extension. So you can like extend the range that you can see something. You know, accuracy is like you can eagle eye on a particular person that you haven't found yet. Or persistence is like you can, I'm going to be dramatic, break through the window with something to like really, you know, like permanently make it easier for you to interact or look outside. Or any combination there.
Yeah. How many successes do I get to use up? Because I had 3 in total.
You had 3, so you can use 3. You can divide them any which way you want.
Okay. So I'm guessing the first one just goes with the general success that knocks out 1.
No. So if you read, it's actually just the first one of the game. So you can choose. Yeah, you can get 3 successes if you. So you can do 3 successes, 3 accuracy, 2 persistence, 1 accuracy, that kind of thing. Whatever you want to do.
Okay. I think Emil will use 1 on extension to look further out, and then 2 on accuracy to try to like definitely hone in on people who maybe like are closing in quicker or something. Okay.
There's a. I'm gonna. I don't know if this is a retcon. I didn't really say this earlier. There's a spotlight, on the carriage. You're just gonna like man it, like one of those old submarine the scopes. I forgot the name of it. And you're just gonna like put the spotlight in 3 directions. The periscope. Thank you so much. You're gonna activate the periscope that like controls this like fog light, and you're gonna spotlight directly on a group of 4 in a bush to your left behind Rosa. And then like completely reveal like their position, and they just start coming out, still armed, but they've given up the surprise. And Rosa, now you have your 2 successes. So now you can decide what you want to use those on now that there's more new people.
Yes. So I want accuracy on my first shot, hitting the guy in the arm,
in the shoulder,
to knock him back or make him drop his weapon. Yeah, in the shoulder. And then my second success in extension as I spin and fire at one of the people in the group.
Ooh, okay.
Again, non-lethal, but trying to take him down maybe with a leg shot or something.
So there is a super fun built-in mechanic even in this quick start for if anybody has a chance to play with a quick start, which I highly recommend. Maybe super great. Essentially, it's between stress and trauma. So trauma is like something that affects your characteristics, adds penalties to your suites, and so you need to roll higher amounts of successes. But then there's also stress, which is just like exactly what you're describing, almost like a non-lethal, super pervasive type of damage. And so you're gonna accurately hit through the mist the shoulder of this person, of this raider behind Clive, and Clive, you feel the stiletto drop that would have easily pierced through the opening in the pads of the combat armor, and the raider behind you, saying an Italian curse word, right? That you may or may not know. Um, so, and then of course Rosa, and then you shoot the first one coming up the road, like the first one out of the bush, knocking basically same location, knocking them back into the other group of three, forcing them to kind of catch them, right? And with this, they all kind of drop their weapons and they congregate together. You see them once the fog light, Emil, you turn the fog light on them, make sure that you're following them, and all of you can clearly see like a heartbreaking image, like emaciated, scarred people who likely haven't had a shower apart from maybe like dirty or rusted oil covered river water, right? In you don't know how long, kind of like stomachs like grumbling, and with fists up, brass knuckles, and like barbed wire that they've tied around like bandages, even cutting through their own skin, but still willing to do it because it's worth a punch, defending themselves. And the four of you have a chance to speak to them. As Clive, you can come back. The isolation is gone. You can, of course, you can come back now, and whoever wants to say anything.
Clive's got his hand on his back, where he was held up with the knife, just double checking if he has a wound back there or not. And he's like, "Well, no one stabbed me, so that's a bonus point for them. Yeah, I don't think I was meant any harm, but I was held up a bit." Should we?
You were saying that you were saying that to the party, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Sorry,
right?
I'm just addressing the group as I walk back.
Gufo's gonna step down from the carriage, and he's gonna still have the mallet in his hand just in case, but he's not gonna get too close to any of the raiders. And he's gonna say, "Look, if you guys didn't get the jump on us, right? He's gonna stand back and he's gonna eye them, making sure they don't get closer to the carriage or to anyone else.
They're holding their ground. They're not moving closer or farther.
So with how Sacred Life is in that, I'm assuming militia would carry med packs of some sort. Like that would be standard. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm
you got
pulling those
you
out.
got a standard issue med kit, with the gear that you were given. You definitely have some in there.
All right. Yeah, so I'm already crossbow slung back. Yeah, I'm pulling out my
Ooh.
med kit and I'm starting to see if they'll let me approach.
Emil, when
I wouldn't do
she
that,
sees
Rosa.
that, will hop out of the carriage to follow behind Rosa. I can help out with that.
Cool.
I know.
Oh.
Then Gufo's gonna back them up with his mallet in hand.
No.
Okay. So we got a
leaving,
conga line.
Emil's leaving the sack of apples behind.
Okay, so you leave the apples behind. And Clive?
Emil, I did promise that fellow over there some apples for not stabbing me. Do you think perhaps I could have a few so I can hold up my end of the deal?
You promised my
Might
apples.
de-escalate things a bit.
I could give him some tomatoes that I still have.
Oh, he did originally ask about tomatoes. Maybe that's... Maybe
So
we
you
can give them some fruit.
Apples are better than tomatoes anyways. Give them some
We should give them
That's your
some.
opinion.
It's like comparing
It's a
apples and
correct
tomatoes
opinion.
together.
It's like comparing apples and tomatoes. Wow.
Give them
That's
first
so
aid, and
yummy.
as long as they don't hurt anyone, I'll at least give
Okay.
them each one of my tomatoes.
So I'll actually, I think you guys are actually in a great spot. So Rosa approaches with the med kit, and and Emil approaches alongside Rosa to try and maybe administer the kit if she feels like maybe it's a little easier for her as a botanist. Clive approaches with a sack of food, with an assortment of tomatoes and apples, but still having enough that that you guys can still have some if maybe the situation arises later. With this, they let's do a couple of checks to see if they trust you first, because they did just get shot at. And so, who would like to do some sort of flesh play? Do a play with a flesh skill to make to try and kind of appeal to their empathy.
I can, even though I kind of look a little threatening. I mean, I guess I don't. No, Gufo
Could
is
we
like
toss-
actively trying to like make sure they don't do anything, so I don't think he should be the one to try and make this check.
It's okay. They won't take it the wrong way as long as you put down the weapon for a second while you do it, and then you can put it back up afterwards if you want. Like, it's fine.
Then,
I definitely
unless
put
someone
away
else
my
wants to do it,
weapons.
then
My
I have
Gufo will
a
like
card I
set it
can
at his
use.
side, but he will have it ready. Well, if it's for charisma, since it's a flesh skill, I have a
Yeah,
thing for that, and
exactly.
I can succeed with it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
well
so
then.
so go. That's why I was like, okay, yeah, if you like, it's okay.
Yeah,
Like,
then-
you're a persuasive
Yeah.
person. You're a persuasive guy. They'll understand.
Gufo's gonna put his hydraulic mallet at his side, but he's gonna make sure they know that it's at the ready still. And I'm going to play since I have the thinking charisma. I'm gonna play a 5 and a 3. They're in spades, so that would be one
Wow.
success.
Okay. You said there's spades, right? Did you want to use gear for
Yes.
this instead?
I should not use gear for this because Gufo does not like people very much because he
Gotcha.
has the
Gotcha.
let me find it. No, that's militia. Since he has
Gear's just like training.
misanthropy.
It's not.
Never mind.
Sure.
Misanthropy is through King of Hearts anyways, so that'd be different. Wait, hold on.
Well,
No,
'cause you
yeah,
said
those are spades. I don't have any special thing for spades, so.
No, that's fine. That's okay.
Other than-
No, that's okay. So you got one success or two successes?
I got one success since it just equaled up to 8.
That's okay. That's fine. They'll take it because you're clearly, like, they don't really know what the medicine is, but they know what the food is, and they're very, they're more than willing to even, they'll take the gunshot that they got stress over but not trauma over. So good on you for like a non-lethal attack there, Rosa, which makes them a little calmer, and then they see some food and they're a lot calmer. Okay, so Emil and Rosa, would you like to give Emil the med kit for her to administer it if she seems to have a higher skill set for it? Or Emil, do you?
Yeah, I'm only passingly good at it, so I will pass this off. Here, I think you'll be much better at this than I am. I'll watch your back.
Sorry, you're muted, Emil. No, it's okay.
I'm
You're good.
looking at my
It's
thing.
all. It can't.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I would pull for that then to like deal with it. Would it, because the closest thing I have is advanced medicine, but it says with this skill remove the trauma in steel and steam. So it's trauma, not stress.
It says remove.
Yeah,
It says remove trauma. Oh, I see.
Yeah, it says remove trauma.
Well, they do.
not
Well, they do have trauma. Well, they do
Oh.
currently have trauma, but for not for reasons occurred in this fight. So that
Okay.
that would. So yes, like that would work. Let's do a. And what skill would that be under? Does it say anything in particular?
That's a gear
I'll get-
skill.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll get exactly. I'll give choice between gear and flesh, whichever ones you prefer.
How do I use up my gear? Because I have a lot of gear.
Gear is like a wild
cards.
card, so like one of the other ones can always be replaced by gear. So basically, it's like one
Yeah.
check, one type, or gear, right? You can always, as long as you have something applicable.
Mhm. Yeah, so I can use spade cards for that, correct?
Yeah, exactly. You can for gear.
Okay. And how many people seem to have like some amount of trauma?
I'll say that all of them. That's what I'm saying. Like they're all like emaciated, scarred. Like they've been through some stuff living in
Okay.
this, fighting constructs and stuff. Now and other raiders. You can use the one medic kit and like dilute it and use it
Mhm.
for everybody. Like that's fine. It's not. You have like beautiful medical science at Florence. Like ain't no shortage of that.
So yeah, I guess I use one card, right? Yes.
If you have anything to increase the, you said you have something to increase it,
It
or that if
doesn't
it works,
really.
it just recovers more trauma if it works.
It just says like any architect you are surgeon with this skill remove the trauma in steel and steam. So like I can remove trauma in steel and steam from people
Okay, sure. So
using a
just
gear skill.
so just do that, and then we'll see what
Okay,
you.
yeah. I guess I'll just play. I have an
Is it two
ace
or one?
of. It doesn't. It only says
Say
one.
well, an ace is an ace is just one. I'm pretty sure, but you do have the suit,
Yeah,
so that's a success. That's a success.
yeah. So it's just gonna play a one of spades. Too.
Okay, so let's choose. So by default, this already has extension on it with the dilution. Let's go down to the success table. What else would you like to use it on? I think that probably maybe like persistence would be a good one for this one.
Yeah, persistence probably is what.
Because it's
She's
like a
going for. Like,
it's a permanent effect. So like we're permanently
yeah,
helping some of their trauma.
yeah.
Okay.
She's definitely like.
So
Let's see if we can. Oh no, pseudo sling people's arms into like. Not.
yeah, no. That's
falling.
awesome. Okay, so you start to apply biogel. You start to suture. You start to like like delouse. Like you basically do like the whole like this whole thing, and they feel a lot more comfortable. And then Clive, can you do a quick flesh check for me? Anyway,
Sure thing. I wouldn't mind. I actually
and
have
see if.
a card with a heart on it, so I get success.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, so awesome.
Only has a
And then
3 though.
So it only has a 3. It's fine, still one success. So in this case, it'd be a. What do you think would be best here to give a group of people to feed them appropriately?
Chop everything up and give everyone slices of stuff instead of just trying to
So
hand out whole chunks of fruit.
so an extension. So that's how we're gonna like operationalize the extension. You're gonna quickly gourmet chop them up and just increase the amount of surface area that people have to eat. They're just gonna
Yes.
pass out different portions of it, and they're gonna great, and they're just gonna have some more. The raiders calm down, and they don't like you ask for their names, and they don't know really what names are. Like there's not really a default. Like they call themselves different things. They have different nicknames, but there's not like a default. Oh, what is your name? I don't really know what that is. Like it's very like downtrodden out here. The way is clear. You can continue on to scrap 2. But what do you want to do with them? What does the party want to do with them?
Pulling everyone in close. Do you think if we have them help us, if they'll let us take them back to the city, maybe?
Having grown up in the slums, I don't know how much better it is within the walls, but if they're having to fight for their lives every day against monsters out here and constructs,
Being in there is
suppose it's
much better than being out here. What I can
good
Food
enough.
is more consistent in the city.
At least, yeah.
And,
Their ears perk up.
yeah.
Their ears perk up as a lot of you mentioned food and walls, and they just hear all this stuff and they're just like losing it, like super excited, because that's what they wanted
Yeah,
in the first place. They were like, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to take a chance, make a call. I'm going to spin around and look at them. So, we're out here on a mission, but if you all can help us, we'll bring you back to the city with us.
Are they even allowed
Okay.
back in? Can we bring people in?
Well,
I
we're
imagine we
heroes
can
of the
throw our
city.
weight
You heard them
around.
call us that so many times.
Mhm.
We'll figure it out.
That's what I was figuring
believe-
that this could be a way of payment, letting these people at least join the city.
So
I believe they were just tooting our horns, by the way, with the whole hero thing. I don't necessarily.
I agree with that, but we still might be able to.
Well,
I
maybe
don't-
they'll learn to
you-
choose
but-
their words more wisely.
True.
for
I like to
sure,
think I'd go.
there have been raiders in the past. I mean, Luke and Rosa said they meant it. Whether or not you believe them, it's a different story. But for sure, you have seen raiders enter the city and stay there in the past. Like they've come. They just have to, like put down the violence and try to assimilate a little bit, and follow the rules. Like basically, like if they can follow the rules in the Codex Scientificus, like they're good. Like they're cool. So
I've got a copy right here.
We do.
see, you're gonna
I
yes, you're
engraved
gonna
it
rip
on
off
my
a
Can they
chariot.
read?
yeah.
Can these
No,
people
it's
read?
framed. It's framed, so there's like a little hammer. You can pop it and then just take it out and pass it to them. And Clive and
Gufo's
Rosa,
gonna do
Can they
that.
even read?
We'll find out.
they probably do know some. They probably do know some, and they can probably figure out some of it. The last portion of it is easier for them to get as well. Let's see. So yes, you pass in the Codex, Gufo. That's fine. Clive and Rosa, you guys have spare insignias, like militia. Like deputy badges, basically, that you can hand out and kind of deputize them. They're gonna go ahead and point out the exact way, the clearest path, and where all the traps are, so you can clear them in advance, going to scrap 2, because there were others. So they're just gonna hand you like a little map, and they're just so that you're just gonna be able to clear it, and then they're gonna like hold out their hands for Codex and the badges. Is this something that you'd like to continue with?
Now,
I'm just gonna put the map.
don't
in
let
front.
these deputy badges go to your head.
Yeah, don't get all dour like Clive.
Definitely don't get
Which is
down.
funny,
like
'cause
Clive.
I'm
He's
just
very
like-
depressing. I swear, most people are not as dour as him.
You've only ever encountered me while I was on the clock. I'm sorry if I try and keep a straight face, but as soon as you get a...
Are you on the clock right
Bit of-
now? Does this count as on the clock?
I would think so.
Good question. Good question, right? Maybe, maybe not, depending on who you ask.
I mean,
It does
I
for
imagine
me.
that it would be.
This
It's
does
a
not
gig,
feel like on
so-
the clock to me. This is nothing like my job.
It's nothing like
But it
your
is
job
closer
or
to
my
theirs.
job, but
Yeah,
it's much closer to
exactly.
those two's.
Exactly.
Our job is to keep people safe. This is keeping them safe.
Yeah,
So-
that's exactly what we're doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, Emil's, by the way, going to take the map and put it now in the frame where the codex
And where the
is.
frame used to be. Yeah.
Emil just puts it there instead. It's like art.
Gufo's gonna like
Look how
go to them and
art
say,
Cozy.
Gufo's gonna go to the raiders and go, whenever you get acquainted to the city, return that plate to my shop, please.
They say all right, like they understand very clearly. And Emil, like the glass wasn't like regular like glass; it was like plexiglass, so you can still pick up like a large portion of it, even though it's like fractured. It's still held together, and you can kind of like put it back, tape it together, real quick, just quickly fix
It's like
it
a
up.
piece of
and-
art.
Look,
Just start keeping art
it's
in
good
here.
as-
And pillows. Make it very
Good
cozy,
as-
like a traveling...
good
You,
as
you
new.
know how they used to apparently have those like carriages that would travel across land that they talk about in like the books about the before times? You could make it like one of those! It'd be so fun.
They say yeah, about the chariot. Okay, yeah.
Emil's
After
just
they
trying to
accept.
encourage. I was
What?
gonna say, Emil's just basically trying to encourage Gufo to make his carriage into like a traveling cross-country
Yeah,
van.
traveling
Yeah.
art. A traveling art.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
a
love
van,
the idea.
that people traveling
A van.
cross-country.
A van.
Yeah.
Cross country.
I'm not much one for art that isn't my signature.
That's it.
or my
That's
mark.
important. Talk to the
It still needs to look
Technofonts later.
professional enough.
Talk to the Technofonts later if you're interested in an expedition like that. They're always doing stuff like that. So the raiders, who describe themselves, or they say thank you, prostrating themselves slightly in humility of getting their butts kicked a second ago. They take the
You'll
map.
be glad Gufo didn't get
They
that.
rather they've already given the map its frame. They take the badges and the rations. Um, they're healed up. They feel a lot better, and they start making their way over back to the city. You can be confident that you've strengthened the city in a very real way, and you start to think that maybe this hero thing isn't really a lie after all, right? Like saving 5 people is a huge deal. Like in a place like this. So we're gonna take a 10, maybe like a 7-10 minute break. Probably back at like 10:25 because we're already past the halfway point. I just want to wait till the scene ended, and then we'll pick back up, arriving at Scrap 2. See you all in just a little bit. And we're back with our party arriving finally at the Scrap 2, past the road, past traps and all. Um, uh, be able to come together prior with food and medicine from a meal curing trauma was great because it may be double the amount that it would have been otherwise. Raiders making it back. When you arrive, it's as quiet as the city. It's that same eerie emptiness, but it still feels inhabited. The reports were correct. It's the same prefabricated, rusted structure, but overgrown moss, vines, and elsewhere, uh, overrunning it. You're allowed to freely explore at your leisure.
Could we, at some point on the way here, catch our breath?
Ah, great. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, I was going to say when Gufo mentioned it earlier about how to get cards back, I said soonish. I wanted to do it in between that area. Yes, yes, of course. So catching your breath, we can all do that together. And essentially, you can discard one card in your hand that you don't like, and then draw up to your maximum hand size. And for everybody right now, that's 7 minimum, and then Rosa and Clive have 8, each of them.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to discard a card to be able to draw back up to full hand?
Yeah, I mean, I thought from what I saw was that you did have to
Okay.
discard a card. The same process, yeah. Keep it cycling.
There we go.
Has everybody arrived? Do they like their cards? Aha! Yes, Emil. Emil with the royal flush. I can't wait.
Can't relate to the good fortune, but we're gonna roll with it. It's gonna be good.
Okay.
I think it's good just as long as you have enough of it that you could make a success.
Yeah, because it's numbers
Right,
or
like-
sweets, and so there has to be something to get.
And I
there,
haven't even used
hopefully.
there's for the inventory you can at some point use I could use the energizing tonic, which allows you to immediately draw 2 cards from the deck, maximum 6 in hand, single of use. So I can use that at some
okay.
point if I run out.
Okay. Cool. That's it. I also want to point out that I just want to make sure the word of it, but yeah, you can also push the limit. And so if you've dropped all the cards, and we haven't really discussed this, but we're going to get into some important decisions. So, probably a good time to bring it up. Pushing the limit is that if you've dropped all the cards that you can drop, let's say 2, like one that you're granted, and then one from something else, so total of 2, and you're still not satisfied with that, you can, like, take a discard a card from your hand, and immediately place the top card of your deck into play. Right, like so it's almost like a surprise, like what you're gonna get, and you hope that you top deck something good. So that's one way to do it. If anybody needs a little extra oomph for a particular skill. Okay, so I mean, there's the same railings, platforms, but no, like it doesn't look like there's any like interior areas. It just seems like there's interior makeshift similarly attached, just nowhere near as robust.
Gufo is
Like a
going
dwelling.
to scout around this this heap, or however you described it, and he's gonna make sure that like there's no one hiding behind it, or he's he's gonna make sure that this isn't like a trap.
That would be steam.
Wait a minute, hold on. Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to figure out what card I want to use.
No, this is the
I
fun.
know
That's the fun. That's
Never
cool.
mind then. No, I'm going back down. Going back down to engineer. Alrighty. So I don't have a. Oh, okay. I'm going to use a. Since you said it's Steam, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use a Jack of Clubs.
Ooh. Okay, so the clubs is one success, and what's the value?
It's a Jack, so I think it's 10. I'm not sure.
If it's 10, then that's 2.
And then I have a special ability with one of those things with the Jack of Clubs specifically, where it's I don't know if it'll pertain to this, but it is the player where a seasoned gambler.
Gambler, maybe.
Right
Emil?
next to the
Before?
thing, it says the value, like what value it's
Oh,
valued
value
at. So it's valued at 6. Yeah.
Yep, I see that.
Value
Thank
6.
you. And would you think this as perception or reasoning, or how would you view this?
I'd say perception. I'd say reasoning, perception, or readiness. I feel like are all applicable
Alrighty.
here. You're either being ready for the traps, you're seeing the traps, or you're logically reasoning out where the traps
Mhm.
would be, and then searching there and then finding them. Right. So all good.
Just to ensure that like I get everything down, since I have a thing in reasoning, I'm going to play a 2 of hearts as well. So that will add up to 8, so that'll be 2 successes, right?
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. That's exactly correct. 2
That's
successes.
what we're
Okay.
going to do.
And then do you want to choose? So let's do. Are you thinking like accurate, or are you thinking persistent for this?
Uh,
You can do one of each. You can do one of each.
I'm
Or 2
definitely gonna do
persistent.
accuracy,
Okay.
and then and then I think I'll also do persistence.
Okay. So you'll find all the traps, and you'll permanently destroy all of them. So you kind of go around the compound, the perimeter from a downward, like the dirt area, up layers by the railings, cutting wires, removing mines, cutting off triggered guns behind like walls and whatnot. Really elaborate stuff. But you're able to find all of it and take care of it successfully.
One hell of a guarded place. The hell they protected me.
Yep, exactly. Somebody's trying to keep them out.
Since we're trying to figure out what this is, I have a gear ability that's investigation. I would like to look around and see if we can.
Ideal. Okay. So let's do. So gear. So let's do a gear.
Could
Awesome,
both of
yeah,
us sort
that
of
would
just
be-
do something similar, like a stab perimeter, basically? Just like scope the whole place out. Would that have
So
any
let's see-
benefit if we?
Do it together. Yeah, I just think it's more successes. And so, Rosa, you can do your gear play and see how many successes you get, and then you can assign them, and then same thing, Clive, and then we'll see if that's enough to avoid any consequences.
So I have 2 successes, a value success and a suit success. I'm playing. I don't remember what these are because I'm playing with tarot cards. I'm playing a 3 of spades for the gear, and my Jack of Hearts, which is a value of 6. So I have 9 and a gear. So 2 successes. And I am going to place both. I think I'm going to place both of them in success to compound the level of success. Because the only one I think that might work is extension, but if we are looking all around this place, then yeah, I think I'll put both in success.
That's cool. And then it'll compound with whatever Clive does, and we'll see how that, like, what organic effect that creates.
So I have a 5 of spades I can play for investigation. So
It doesn't
that
have
would
to be gear. It doesn't have to be gear. It can be gear or steam. Either one's fine.
Oh, okay, gear or steam. Okay, I actually don't have. Okay.
Because gear's like the wild card
Okay.
one, so it doesn't have to be that one. So there's always like a
Oh, I
default
got
one,
you, yeah.
and then wild card if it's, you know, if you have something.
Sorry, I had to cough real quick. Okay, so yeah, I've got a 5. Then I can play a 5 of clubs. Sorry, I don't remember the
5 of
symbol
clubs.
on a card. It's sad.
That's good.
Yes, a
No,
5 of
that's
clubs.
fine. That's for steam. That's a suit success. Okay. And then, what do you want to use it towards?
Investigation as well. I just wanted to add. Oh, I see what you're asking.
Yeah.
I suppose just more successes.
More success. Wow. Okay. So let's do 3 successes. Okay. The both of you sweep the mid level as thoroughly as Gufo cleared the lower, essentially. And you kind of go up and down doing this reconstruction, finding, you know, these objects and the way that they're placed and spilled, you know, and you're kind of reconstructing a scene. 3 super important things that Rosa and Clive notice. 1, the rusted smell of constructs. Very easily and clearly smelled. There are constructs here. 2, what seems to be a workshop, which is like where it seems like there's a piece of construct, like an arm, that's currently being worked on. And somebody left in a hurry because there's like a small container of like motor oil basically like spilled next to it, and it's like it's wet, it hasn't dried. It's not coagulated or anything like that. Like, and 3, you see what seems to be like a recreational area. Something like like rudimentary games, and like, you know, connected by cans, and like, you know, little like, I wouldn't say like a field, but almost like a tennis net in length, you know, something that's sizable but doesn't take up like a whole space or anything like that, but definitely something that's, you know, with lines and everything's clearly for a game.
Something tells me they don't have the proper paperwork for this sort of operation.
Yeah, this isn't at all what we were expecting to find.
I don't believe it is what I expected at all either. They clearly are just sort of staying here and doing some sort of operation. This is just to keep them entertained. Should definitely let the others know.
Well, you saw the arm. It looks like they're working on constructs out here. But I thought
Maybe
we had all the people in the city who knew how to do that.
Well, maybe not everyone
Rose is
agrees
correct.
with the laws.
Well, as they're discussing amongst themselves, Goofball is gonna go. The traps are cleared out. To the best of my ability, I think they're all gone. So it's safe to mosey around.
Thank you.
Excellent work.
Emil?
If Emil, I imagine Emil is staying fairly close to like Rosa and Clive on the basis of larger group. Hearing this conversation, does Emil recall, I guess, potentially anyone who was like maybe kicked out of the city who would have the skill set to make constructs?
Roll. This is, I would say, flesh or not. You can do a play for either flesh or steam.
Flesh or steam? Okay.
Steam is really good, by the way. I also, just as a complete side note out of character, Steam is fantastic.
Steam is really cool. I just don't know if I have enough to do Steam.
Yeah. It's just useful for a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll play my king for this. My king of clubs. Yeah, king of clubs, so that would be Steam. Says, although your intelligence is not inferior to others, you need more time to achieve the same goals. But it would be the correct suite. So would that work?
So the issue is that the king has no value,
Okay.
even if it's the right suite. So if you would want to use it to discard it to find a card that might be the right suite, yes, that's perfectly
then
fine.
I'll play something else. I'll play. I'll just play a three of clubs.
Okay. All right. So you get the one. You knew basically all the techno sophists who were at the scrap in the like joint union between Technophont and Sophist, and they're them and a couple of chief medical scientists over at the Citadel have this tech. You know them, you studied with them because there are so few people, and you know everybody intimately. You know that there's nobody. Like, you can rule it out. Is the opposite. You like for sure you can rule it out that there's nobody who's left in your, not even in recent memory, in your entire lifetime, that would have been
like
able to
nobody's been
reproduce.
banned. Nothing. They're like
No,
very strict on
no
choosing who
no
studies.
no exiling. Even if they get like even if they get kicked out of like the Citadel, they'll stay within the city. But like nobody's been kicked out. Nobody's left. Nobody's like sought revenge. Nothing like that. So you can effectively rule it out that it is nobody that you know.
How did they learn this, I wonder? How did they learn this? Are there other cities which maybe know?
There's a top layer that is not fully interior, but is the closest thing to like the dwelling like side of it. Who would like to interact? Yep, Rosa. And I'm sorry. I just want to also in combat. Something that I find really cool about this game to the audience is that in the initiative, there is no like numerical initiative. It's completely player preference. So that's why we've kind of just been jumping back and forth between like whoever seems to want to enjoy it first. It's just because it's not really like a set order, and that's really cool. I think it really helps with flow. So Rosa, yeah, you were excited about what's up.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a groove. Doing the investigation, it's the thing I'm good at. It's why I'm part of the militia.
Yes.
So I'm just keep going. I'm trusting that Gufo found all the traps, and I'm just keep going.
Great idea.
And
yes. Okay.
I should preference that Gufo's going to stay near the bottom, so he knows who's coming in and who's coming out, so no one can sneak up on all of them. He's
Okay.
like standing cross-armed,
Gufo?
mallet in hand.
Gufo, Rosa, yeah, please do the checks or the play and tell me what you get. Gufo, please do a quick check for me.
Well, which one?
Steam.
Steam? Okay.
Yeah.
What would it be in Steam?
The suit would be clubs.
Like, would there be like a skill or just pure Steam?
Oh, it would be pure perception.
Okay. Then I'm going to play a 10 of spades.
Okay. The 10 passes. You only need one success. You feel an earthquake. What feels
Whenever
like an earthquake?
Gufo's gonna hold onto the doorway or whatever is closest to him where he's stable, so he can stay stable, and he's gonna yell up to everyone else. The ground shaking. There's an earthquake. Watch your footing.
It's not enough for the structure to shake. Only the dirt layer, which is uncommon for an earthquake, mind you. More on that
Gufo's
later.
gonna-
Rosa, what? Rosa, what? How many?
So I would like to use kind of putting all the pieces together reasoning for this,
Okay,
if I can.
that'd be amazing.
Okay. So I have a value success and 2 sweet successes on this.
Would you like to push the limit?
What is that again?
So you can discard a card and play the top card of your deck and add it, and see if it adds a success.
Yes.
If there's a
Do I? Yeah, I'll do that. I have some good cards though.
you have a great number of successes already, but another one would be like critical.
Taking a big risk on this, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ace of Cups, which is my Steam card. So yeah, that's another success.
Ooh, okay, worked perfect.
So that's 4.
So, and you're putting them all in. Would you like to do like 3 success, 1 accuracy, just to
Yeah.
diversify the Tatus bit?
Yes, that is
Okay.
what I would like to do.
Okay, so and what is the specific effect that you're being accurate with? Is like being thorough, I imagine.
Trying to. Sometimes I get ahead of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Shocker. And put things together not quite right. So I'm trying to slow myself down, calm my brain down, and carefully put these pieces together without getting too distracted. So accuracy in the information that I'm gaining.
Okay. As you enter the dwelling, it looks almost like a house. Like, in fact, it does look like a house, like a small sink. Not really like plates, but almost like large, deep sinks with what seems to be like oil in them. Further recreational areas, more of these games, sitting areas, a coffee table, like things that definitely resemble furniture. And you start to put a picture of who lives here. And it starts to become clear to you that with the smell in the air and everything you're experiencing, that you have found no evidence of human people, like any people here. Only constructs. And in fact, this seems to be a construct designed like a room for functionalities that would help constructs, but you've never seen anything like that before because they never have like their own spaces. Back in
like
the
an
city.
oiling station.
Right. Yeah, like
Instead
a
of-
refill
instead of
station,
like a shower.
But then yeah, exactly. Instead of a little pod that they get tucked into with tubes hooked up, right? It's
Yeah. standing there in the middle of the room looking around, I think, yeah, just quietly to herself, this changes everything. And is going to turn around and quickly go back to the rest of the group.
So that was 3 successes. The 4th success, okay, leads to what, after carefully checking the floor plan, or going around the house, like, you see one area that looks like a walkway, like you could swear it's a different passageway, but there's like a wall that seemingly blocks it off, even though the borders alongside of the floor almost clearly show that it's like another area. After some like interaction with it, you reveal a false wall, and you find 3 constructs hiding. Like one with blonde hair, seemingly with like half a woman's face, and then mechanic parts on the side, and then 2 bald, like both like the top of the head, like the top half of the head bald is showing for the back 2, but all like metallic on the way down, right? Except for like maybe some arm and legs, but the majority of the torso and the bottom half of the head and face are all metallic, and they're like definitely hiding. It's like
So
very clear what the body language is.
I quickly look behind me. I'm the only one up here, right?
Yeah, you are. You are the only one up here. This is true.
I'm gonna stare at them for a moment.
Processed flesh, rusting,
Yeah.
burning, fills your nose.
Be quiet. People from the city are going to come. Wait till we leave, and then go somewhere further from the city. And I will close the wall back.
They look at you, and they say, well, the one with the hair, the non-bald one, introduces herself. And she introduces herself as Felicia.
I'm Rosa.
Hi. Good to meet you, Rosa. This might be the first time that you've ever spoken with one of us. And for that, finding us even to see so much of our life and understand who we are, clearly you know what's going on. I know you're from the city. We know of that place, even if our recollection of it is minimal or in some cases non-existent. You tell me what that means. Felicia talks about how her basically best friends, Ursino and Manuela, kind of occupy this settlement, this place, and they use the resources that they left on this out of the wall scrap 2 type prefabricated station for Ursino controls the like he has the guns, Manuela is the engineer, and Felicia is like their equivalent of a face, of a leader. They say that with the 3 of them, they're able to take care of each other, and that there used to be more, but that they had different opinions and things were soured. She asks, nay, she really stands up and kind of forms out, now not scared, worried, knowing that you won't hurt her. And Felicia says, we're not leaving. This is our home. We have nowhere else. And if we go back to the city, they'll take us and tinker, take away who we are. Or even if they can't, they'll make us do something so menial that it'll feel like that. We have no option but to stay here. And then she kind of like turns away hastily for a second and tends to Manuela and Ursino and makes sure that like they're calm, they're still kind of like freaked out. And it gives you a chance to ponder or go bring the others, depending on what you want to do. But she seems firm about her decision.
I will say to her that they sent us just to take a look here. They're going to send the military. They're not going to let you stay here, and if they find you here, they're going to do the same thing that they would do if you went back to the city. Is there any
Well,
place else you can start again?
maybe we can work something out. Just I know you came with others, but I have a plan. So maybe if the others are as calm and inclusive as you are, then okay, maybe we can all have a conversation. But alone, I have no backup. Like I can't trust just a single person, and so essentially she calls for your squad.
I will go back down and find everyone. Trying to figure out how I'm going to explain this.
Yeah, exactly. You can just bring them up, or you have a chance to give them context completely, up to you here.
Yeah, so I will group everyone together, probably at least on a lower level, looking a lot more solemn than Rosa's looked for this entire trip.
Oh dear, what did you find?
It's constructs that built this place, and they live here, and they can think, and they can talk, and there's some hiding upstairs, and they're... No, they live here. They're the ones who built this. They're hiding upstairs. Yes, talk.
Is that
and think.
That's not normal, right? Like Emil knows that.
You actually, for all of the access that you have never heard about that.
It's definitely an anomaly then, yeah.
They shouldn't be able to talk.
I would like
I
to
wouldn't
see
say
this
it.
right away, please.
Oh, okay. Not sure, but I've never encountered one talking.
Well, let's go encounter one. Or three, apparently.
So I'm as they're saying that,
Do
I'm
they
going to
remember
step
Goofy's
back.
gonna interject. Goofy's gonna interject from the ground floor. What's going on up there?
Bring
Get
your
up
ass
here
up here.
now!
We have
We
something
would've
quite
what's happening down
interesting
here.
to see.
Just come up then.
Something's not right down
The
here.
wildest thing.
Yeah, a lot of things aren't right. Just
He's gonna
come up.
Before
Goofy's gonna take
Gufo
one
hops
last
up.
look around.
Yeah, exactly. So you can make another steam or gear
He's
check.
gonna take one last look.
Yeah, and just do another perception one if you wanted.
As he's doing that, I'll step back before the other two seem very interested, and I kind of have my hand on my truncheon. I'm like, we're gonna hear them out, okay?
Do they remember?
I'm looking
anything
mostly at Clive.
Well,
God, I don't have good
trust me.
cards for this.
Oh no.
So
remember
okay, no wait. So if you're
Okay.
yeah, if you're out of cards, you can do something called empty-handed, which is like push the limit, but
I'm not out of cards. I have 4 of them in hand, but none of
Oh.
them fit the criteria or could end up with a success.
okay. So in that case, the consequence will be that you face exhaustion for spending time looking and really straining your eyes. It's late, you've been up a long time, maybe even 4 or 5 hours past than when you started. You lose 2 cards from the exhaustion that would go to your discard pile.
So it's either I lose 2 cards or I use 2 cards to at least maybe get 1 success. That might be able to do it.
If you could do a success, then sure. But even it's harder. And I will just say that it would require 2 successes. So if 2 successes can't be generated, discard 2.
Yeah, I gotta discard 2 cards.
Yep. Okay, so that's all right.
Do I have to show
You
what
just-
cards I discard, or what do I do with that?
No,
Or is that
you
just a
can,
DM
but
thing?
I don't think it's I think you
I,
can,
I,
but I don't think it's required.
I guess I go ahead and I guess I will. I'm getting rid of a 4 of hearts and an ace of diamonds.
Gotcha. Okay. So then you hop back upstairs, and and you're with everybody else now. And then Rosa or Emil, somebody was doing something. Rosa.
Just
Yeah, I was-
Rosa was introduced to the constructs.
Questions.
Go ahead, sorry.
There's constructs? What?
They're talking.
Yes.
Talking construct. That's a very important part
Yes.
of this. They
He's
talk.
gonna. You want to repeat that to me?
Sentient
He's gonna-
robotic
construct.
corpses.
You think me a fool?
Well,
That's
we will
never
see,
happened
Ro-
before.
Rosa's the
I mean,
one that
yeah,
tells
that's-
us.
I'm telling you, that's what's going on, and we're going to hear them out. Okay?
Yeah, let's just go there.
Do they remember anything from before they died?
I don't know, but
I
they
suppose
can
we'll
think.
ask him that.
Rosa takes her friends upstairs.
Also, as they're going up, Gufo's gonna talk. By the way, the earthquake that I mentioned, it should have shaken the building, but it only shook the surface dirt. I didn't see anything before I come up, but we should probably be on our toes.
You better believe it. If
Maybe
I'm
it's some
awake,
sort of
I'm on my
machinery?
toes.
Hmm?
I'm already concerned. This is not normal.
No, not in the
It's not
slightest.
normal. No, it's not. Hardly anything in this world is normal from what I remember as a child.
Well, for me, plenty of things are normal. We have a sense of normality, and talking constructs are not part of that.
This is how the world is now, so that makes it normal, doesn't it?
I suppose you're right. Rosa, please just introduce us to them as
I don't
calmly
like
as
that.
possible. We'll let you do the talking at first. You've become acquainted.
So I'll lead everyone up over to the where I found them.
Okay. Felicia explains the same. To like what she's already said to Rosa, she relays to Gufo, Clive, and Emil. But then opens herself up to questions. And Emil, I believe you were asking if she has any memories.
Yeah, do you have any memories of, like, the life you lived before you died?
Ursino!
We're leading the questions with that one.
Yes, of course.
Emil's like
Okay.
super hyped for that one, which is great. Excitable, gets in there. Hey, do you have any memories? It's
So,
great. And so
Do you have
About
any
you
memories
dying.
of your life before you die? Well, it's a very important question because it establishes if this
Mhm.
sentience was something, if this is necessarily a personality or sentience granted to them after death versus what they were before death, because that then somewhat delineates if, like, they have been reborn, like the person, or if it's just an entirely new piece of life.
she does remember her former life. She
Very
does
scientific.
remember a
Okay.
portion of her former life.
So that implies we've actually brought somebody back to life.
So she's like, I
Did you
do,
heartbeat?
but whoops, sorry.
Oh, no, continue.
No, sorry, I just didn't hear you. Okay, so she's like, yeah, I do remember my, some portions of my old life, but here's the thing. I'm not a Tuscan person. I'm not from Tuscany. I'm not from around. I'm from Milan. I'm hundreds of miles from here is where I remember my life.
When did you
And
die?
2033. Clive, you remember that's like basically like it's like around your birthday, maybe like a year or two off. So this person
Okay.
died when you were born. And
wow.
but she definitely states that she does not have memory of the city. So she does not like. That's why she was so willing to be like, I'm not from Tuscany. I'm not from Florence. She's just really pushing. That she doesn't feel the same allegiance or the same even fear, the way that the raiders fear the city, the way that the people inside the city regard it. She's neutral. She feels nothing about it because she's unfamiliar with it, and this does imply she came from somewhere else.
What about those two? Hi.
Ursino and Manuela. Ursino comes along and says, "Well, yeah, I remember. I I don't remember a lot. I just remember dying in Florence and waking up there, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I woke up on the table, and they were still doing something to me, and I ran. I don't know how I made it out, but it was only with the help of my sister Manuela. Is same bald like pattern, same face. But Ursina specifically says, my sister Manuela, and together we were able to break out of whatever horrible concrete dungeon we were in, and we found this place, and Felicia took us in. Manuela's still scared, but starting to calm down, like in the corner.
My character clears his throat and just sort of exclaims to the group, uh, I bet if the people knew that this was possible, they would have a different opinion about our street sweepers.
What if
Well,
everyone
clearly
did
this is
Manuela.
not common.
You're right. It's not common. And Rosa, what'd you say?
I was just almost to herself. What if everyone remembers?
Things are getting
Then why
dicey.
don't more run away?
Gufo's more amazed than
That's-
anything else, just standing there, just confused and dumbfounded that this is even possible.
Wait,
Yeah, because it
did all
completely
of you-
invalidates what you were talking about before. That like they're just like robots.
sure.
It's like the exact opposite.
Do all of you did all of you run away while you were still being worked on?
That it's me. We did, but Felicia, she doesn't even remember where she came from. So it's different for all of us. While she says this, Manuela comes up to Rosa, and when she says that they all remember, and Manuela, without saying anything, almost appearing to be mute, hands a joker with like a Steamwork image on it to Rosa. And I know this is like narrative, but like just add a joker, or just add like a card. You can draw an extra card. It's fine. For treating them with such kindness, for being empathetic with them, right? When not everybody else is. So
Does that
Felicia.
mean
Sorry. Yep. Does that mean?
this will sound maybe weird, but if Emil has ever worked on this isn't clear. This clearly kind of isn't normally Emil's work, like wheelhouse. She kind of sticks to plants. But if she knows anything of the process, is there ever a part in it where they like go in and do something with the heads of the constructs?
Yes. There is unknown craniometric procedures that almost serve like a restraining bolt type function, where they're able to be made easier, more easier able to serve and do these menial tasks, and you wonder if avoided what that would lead to. What that last part in the process. Felicia perks up and says, clearly you and your friends, Rosa, seem, even though loyal to the city, and I respect that, it's still, I know that you understand our plight too. So, because I am an intelligent construct, maybe, contrary to popular belief that you might have, I do have a plan. Here it is, and you tell me what you think. So far, what they want here, they're just like us. On the lam, and low on resources. In fact, I bet that they sent you here because they didn't want to lose more people. Immediately picking up on it, right? Clearly displaying like her intelligence about it, not some like, you know, pseudo connections. Very like complicated thought processes. And if we can suffice your primary goal of getting what they want here, we'll either pack up and leave, or maybe we can stay if they don't like, if they get everything they need, then they don't have to come here. So what she's asking you, in other words, is to take supplies back, and they'll help you move supplies out so that they can be picked up. They'll hide in their false wall. The people will the technophants and the sofas will come and check it out, strip it, and then leave, because there's nothing else to do there. There's no bunker, underground secret experiment lab, nothing. All they need is shelter. So they're like begging you, essentially, to help appease your lords without actually, you know, necessarily give them the tech they want, but let them keep the shelter is essentially what they're trying to get at. And they want your help with this deception. Thoughts?
Might I speak to your plan? I believe, while I do honor the fact that this is a compromise and good for all parties involved, I think the ongoing deception, not only would it potentially be difficult to maintain, it could get more and more dangerous as it continues. It's just my thoughts. I don't necessarily believe it's our safest option. It's, again, possibly the one you prefer, but possibly resettling somewhere else may actually be safer.
Where would we go?
With my friend.
I'm more willing to hear
Maybe
you out. I just need an alternative.
Maybe we could scout out the area and help you find some places. Maybe clear out something for you. I'm not sure. I don't work for you, but your existence is fascinating, and I believe something so fascinating and rare should be preserved.
If we do go through with your plan of deception, the one thing that could ruin everything is if they find the false wall just as Rosa did. Then that might
They are the elite
bite
units.
us in the ass.
They are the elite units, so it is.
They are.
You know, you Gufo know that they're the elite units, so you know that it would be harder for them to hide.
We
And
would
the
have
fonts
to.
were- Okay.
No, Emil.
We would
Yeah,
have
go
to
ahead.
make. Oh yeah, I'll let her go.
I was gonna say the fonts
Sorry.
were thinking about making an outpost here too. Just add that in.
That's a really good one. So between Clive saying that it's not the safest, Gufo saying that like kind of like relaying that and saying that they might find the false wall, which they probably will because they're elite, and Emil saying that like they planned on making an outpost there. Either of you three, decide amongst yourselves who wants to make either a flesh empathy check to or a steam reasoning. Right, Clive, you got this persuasion unlock, or this empathy, rather.
I'd like to, I guess,
Sorry,
try to make it.
Muted. I could get 2
Multiple
successes right out of the
successes.
gate with steam reasoning.
Oh, you know what? Let's do all three of you. You know what? Whoever wants to do these, let's get on it. Let's do max successes. Yeah, I really
I
like this
would,
idea of
but
max successes. I love that. So let's do it. If you don't
I
want to
don't really have
don't
a
have the
website right
cards,
now.
yeah, then that's fine. Simon and Emil, roll your flesh, or not roll. Do a flesh empathy or a steam reasoning.
So if I were to use, I have it marked as a skill for empathy.
Mm-hmm.
I have one, I have a 5 for I have a 5/4 flesh, and then I also have
Mhm.
my king for flesh, but I don't know if that would work in any way because, as you said, it doesn't necessarily do anything.
Yeah, so the first one would work as a sweet success, but the king you would have like again you can do the whole discard thing and try it out. You can do that too, or you don't have to
I'll
do
try
that. You
that.
can
Yeah.
also do the push. You can also do push your limit, which is discard a card and then do that. So you can discard your king if you wanted,
So
and then
could I
top
discard my
deck
king, do that, grab that, and
as
then play
as yeah
whatever comes in
yeah
hand, and
yeah
then
hmm
okay, yeah,
yes,
I'll do that. Ooh, that's nice.
and then
Okay, it's a 3, so that would be an 8 in total, and
all right, two
and
successes.
uh,
Think about
yeah.
where you want to put them. Clive, how about you?
Yeah, I got 2 successes as well because I played a 3 of clubs for Steam, and I have a rank in reasoning, so that's a free success, right?
Sorry, one more time.
Reasoning.
You
If I
had
have a
like
rank in reasoning, that is a success,
uh
right? Also, on top of playing the card.
if you have a rank, I believe it just lets you play another card.
Okay, got it. I can play 2 cards then. Bloop. Sorry. Yeah,
Exactly,
2
exactly.
successes.
Okay, great. All right, so four successes, and where does Emil want to put them? Clive, where do you want to put them? Emil, you went first, so you can pick yours, and then Clive, you can adapt and compound the best organic. You know, whatever you feel like works best.
Perfect.
I don't really know what to like aim these successes towards. I would think. Hmm.
You could do like persistence if you want to make it like kind of hard, like put your foot really down and be like, you have to get out of here, and like they're more likely to believe it if you do
Yeah,
that with
I think
persistence. So you can do
persistence in
like
the sense of like it's really just not safe. I understand that
a
like
good
this is
idea.
your home, that you've made something of this, but like we
So
can't
two
stop the
persistence.
technophants if they want.
Yeah, I agree. Would you say two persistence?
Yeah,
Is
too
that
persistent.
okay? And Clive?
2 extension, just so the effect, their
Oh.
understanding is long lasting, and that they stay away from this place for.
It also literally because you're speaking to Felicia, but maybe Manuela and Ursino have different opinions. So the fact that you use extension also affects them as
Mhm.
well. And so
Excellent.
persistence is the sledgehammer, and extension is making sure that it affects all three of them. All three of them like agree with you. They're like all three of them are like, okay, I think that Rosa, Clive, Emil, and Gufo are right. Like we should leave. There were too many reasons.
Can I offer them a?
We're sorry.
I was gonna say, could I offer them a piece of my inventory? That
They actually will make a plea. Okay, so they're gonna. Actually, Gufo, I want your second reaction of the game. Um, they're gonna ask you for your chariot.
Oh no.
they're gonna
Okay.
try and do like an empathy. They're do like empathy flesh just to see if they can uh basically appeal to your better nature, that with that they can like Ursino will defend them, and that they'll be able, and with that they'll be able to like find another place of similar value, and that
Uh,
so they're gonna they're
uh,
appealing, and then you can make a reaction if you are so
what kind of
unwilling, or you can just
reaction?
agree with them. Well, I get it's more so like a just to start the conversation necessarily between them, just to see like how willing you are right off the bat. If you are willing, then they'll just take it and they'll go, and you can get it, you can back on your way. Um, but they're like please, like we really need that. That's the best way.
Bufo's not outright willing, mostly because that's like it's 30 miles to get back. That's a long way, and like gonna say that he'd have to talk it out with Clive and Amelia and Rosa, if that's even an option. Unless you want me to go ahead and make that check just in case.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're like resisting it, well, it's like it depends. It's just like, do you? I guess like I don't know. I'm trying to think about whether or not that would be like a good usage.
I'm trying to balance out Gufo's like his whatchamacallit, his misanthropy, where he just
okay. So what you can
I'm trying
do,
to balance that out, but
yeah, because they're not people. What what you can do is they're not literally
Yeah.
human beings, but they are human, but they are people. They are humans. If you wanted to like cancel, you could draw a reaction to cancel. Like just to like kind of make them maybe feel a little like worse for asking, or really like try to be like, no, I'm sorry.
Come on, be a nice guy. We're a nice guy.
I don't think Gufo's gonna outright like try and make them feel bad, but like,
but just
he's gonna like, he's gonna be like, do I need to make a check to make sure that like he actually can say no, or
yeah, sure. Like that's I mean,
okay.
I don't.
What would
I feel like
you-
that's a little too restrict. I don't know. I feel like that's a little too restrictive of your agency. I want you to be able to decide if you say no or not. I just want you to roll to
Okay.
see how likely you are to resist their appeal. That like you don't care, like that they're begging, and you're like, I whatever. Like that's it. Like it's not so much about to force a decision on your path. So
Gufo has
yeah.
a part in him that wants to say yes, but like he wants to talk it out with Clive and Amelia and Rosa
Alright.
first.
Okay.
So he's gonna look at them and say, "That's not a decision I can make on my own. Let me talk to my colleagues."
That's okay.
And
that's
he's
fine.
gonna bring him aside and be like, "Should we get a carriage?"
I would hate to walk that far personally, but so my vote's no. I was thinking of giving them a weapon to protect themselves. I was gonna give them my
could
They
crossbow.
have a
my
weapon,
mallet.
but only one person. They have a weapon. Ursino already has a weapon, but he and Ursino, he's the only one that can wield one. The other two are not really combat.
Got it.
They're
Okay.
just like, yeah. That's why they feel like they need it, because they don't know any other spot.
I think
I mean,
Rosa
how much
is.
Sorry,
I
yeah,
prefer to
Rosa
look
and
out for
then
myself.
Emil.
Uh,
Yeah, we know.
Rosa's
It's good. It's
quiet
good.
for a
It's good.
moment. She looks like she's thinking really hard. And she's going. I
It's a
think
hard world.
we
hard
should give
decisions.
them. I think we should give them the chariot, but I don't know that I should have a vote in this. And she looks up at Clive. All life is sacred. That's what we're taught. They need someone to protect them. And I'm going to pull my militia badge off and toss it to Clive. I think I'm going to go with them.
Will you be coming back to the city then now afterwards?
I don't think I
is this an
can
escort?
after this.
It would certainly be hard going back to a normal life knowing what they could become. But at the same time, I've seen how those raiders are and how the world treats them. It's not comfortable in the walls, but
they'll have a hell of a lot easier time blending in than you would. I mean, how much does it take to, I guess, destroy a construct?
I'd rather not talk about destroying the constructs.
No, I mean
they're
like
directly hostile.
Oh no,
but...
no. Out of character. Like, how much does it normally take to destroy a construct? Is it probably more than like?
It's hard. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'd say that it's difficult because they're already like marvels unto their own. But the
They're
fact that
covered
they
in
have
armor. They're dead.
the fact the fact that they have Manuela acting as an engineer to repair them as well is everything. The fact that she understands their physiology enough and their mechanics enough to be able to do that means that together, like, they can only really make it if all three survive. They need Felicia
Hmm.
because she has the travel experience. They need Orsino because he's the militia who keeps them safe, and they need Manuela to keep them under repair in case, so that they don't become like a frenzied construct like the Citadel warns you about when you leave the city for the first time.
Knowing this, it changes everything. And I mean,
Well,
if you can be a construct that isn't like what we have in the city, why would you want to go back to that? And we don't know how much damage they can take before they lose what they are now.
Yeah,
We're taught
but
over and over and over again that all life is sacred.
clearly by the looks of Felicia, it's not just our city that's doing this, baby. She doesn't even know where she came from.
what's got me
Either that
thrown for a loop
or
is. Sorry.
I was gonna say either that or the technophants and the technosophists are telling us a few lies about how far they can travel, and even if you die however far away, they'll still find you and get your body at the end of the day.
It's crowd control. Is what's happening. They don't want to. They don't want citizens knowing that this is possible. I'm sure they've probably are aware of this happening. It seems uncommon and rare to us, but that could be because we're not being told about it. And
I
what's got
mean,
me
Maybe.
part of
frightened is perhaps what if the street sweepers can think and just but they just can't. They just don't have the luxury of speech like these.
Exactly.
I
Or if
don't
they're
think they
trapped
maybe
there.
can. I think these ones woke up a little bit too early because part of the surgery to make a construct is a cortical implant to control them from getting too violent.
So why not
Is it,
just
or is it to keep them
not?
from thinking?
Yes,
I
why
That's what
not
have
I
just
mean.
put?
I have
That
something
would
to
probably keep
interject.
them from thinking, not from speaking. It's easy to just stop it.
What if the city knows that these guys are out here and they want us to do something about it? And what if they know that we know that these
That was
constructs
so
are
good.
alive?
There's so much.
That
Everything's
that
off now.
just
Now
sounds
Whenever
the
Goofo
that
says
reality's
that,
sounds
he's gonna
broken.
look outside. He's gonna like, is there a window that he can look out real quick?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
He's
mostly outside. You can just see it's just dark forest.
he's gonna he's gonna like take a glance, and like he ain't feeling too good right now, Chief.
that just sounds that sounds risky to potentially deal with a one of their like deal with an ecobotanist going missing, dealing with an engineer who makes the techno font armor going missing, dealing with two of their militia going missing who help keep the peace in the city. Like that feels risky.
I don't know. It was just a thought. Or
I
what
don't
if
know.
they discover that the sentient ones are living here, and then they found out that we know that they become sentient, and
A
we're
little
taken.
bit.
Well, let's not tell them.
So
What if they find
I am
out?
loving the, as you know, like chat saying, the crisis of faith. And the discussion should keep up if you guys want it to. I will point out a compromise that not hasn't necessarily been suggested yet. They want the carriage, you want the carriage. Um, the oxen by itself is big enough to like mount four people, a little uncomfortably, but it could. So you could do it like where you give them the one oxen and the carriage, and they just go slower, but they have it. And you can take an oxen, and you can ride back to the city.
How are we going to
Is another
explain
option
the
as
loss
well.
of your carriage? Not a good liar.
Uh, we did find raiders.
The mud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did find raiders.
I'm
I'm already
I'll
going to
stay-
have to
I'll
tell
stay
a
out of
lie
them.
about. I'm already going to have to tell a lie about my fellow militia person going missing. So,
So it's
Fighting a
I did
fire.
do
so
the
so it could take like also because if Rose is going with them, probably she needs a little bit of protection. But so that's kind of like so those are kind of like the three choices, like a neutrality where you figure out some sort of compromise, acceptance where you give the chariot, or denial and you don't give the chariot and you report back to the city as you were instructed to do. It seems like the party is ideologically dispersed, but what, and that's fine. That's great actually. Is the point.
my character doesn't want to
action still
report
needs to
them,
be
but he also just doesn't want to go like rogue like Rosa. I mean, he likes the comfort of being behind the
Yeah.
wall and his rat burgers when he comes to think of it.
Gufo wants to protect his ass. He doesn't want to lose what he's got, which it may not be a lot, but you cherish what you got.
I myself feel sympathy for them, but I can say that that Emile has loyalty to the city.
Okay.
She won't report them, but she's definitely has loyalty to the city, and she likes her work, and she wants to continue that.
So 4 different opinions is what you're saying. 4 different
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
well, we've got
Well-
like a line, and everyone is just.
So I'm gonna help with a timer that I was going to introduce later, but I will start it sooner. And in the form of how could I run a zombie genre adjacent game without a horde? There has to be a horde at some point. So the
Oh, no.
earthquake that you felt earlier was no earthquake. It is Night of the Dead, not sponsored, style under the celestial moon in complete darkness, frenzied constructs searching for revenge on someone or something. At least 400. Slow,
400.
but
I was
but
just having
steady.
a conversation. Just
Okay, so
You-
I'm
they-
thinking
So we're
is,
getting
uh,
outta
just
here.
a
The building
strong
is finally
shot.
the building is finally shaking. You can see them in the distance. The carriage is the only way out, or an oxen to outrun them at least, without assistance, or otherwise you have to really haul. Decide. The other
Yeah,
constructs don't feel. I will say that the Manuela, Ursino, and Felicia don't feel like they're just as scared of the construct horde as you are, right? They don't necessarily feel kinship, that they don't feel like they're not going to get hurt. So
But are they less?
That's important info.
it is like they're scared.
I
Like
mean, that's
you
the-
infer that they're scared of them. So
Would that be the direction
I'm
that
thinking-
they're headed in?
no. So how can I put this? So if the scrap 2 is southwest of the city,
Uh-huh.
the horde is moving west to east, and so soon it'll cover all escape routes. But if everybody leaves now, you can take the north road back, and anybody who's trying to leave like them, like they can continue their like they reveal they're trying to head to Sicily, so they continue, like they can continue their road south. If there's a
thinking-
decision before the horde reaches.
I'm thinking that we
I'm-
just split the carriage. That's what I.
Yeah, give both groups a fighting chance, so somewhat. Instead of one group instant death. Instead of one group sure demise and another group just a little extra speed boost.
I'm fine with giving
How-
them carriage or taking a single thing.
Let's give them one
Who's
oxen.
getting?
I just want to get back.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Who's getting the oxen?
They're getting the oxen.
And who's getting?
Let's get the
who's
carriage.
getting the oxen in the?
I
Thanks.
My dude, I have the whatchamacallit, the Queen of Diamonds
It's cute, folks.
huge trait.
Sorry,
I'm
Rosa.
really heavy. I'm really big. I will kill one of the oxen if I sit on it with other people. We need the carriage.
Got it.
It's
Okay.
Guffo's carriage. I think this is
So let's-
ultimately his decision.
It is
to
my
make.
carriage.
So
It's not-
I'll give a
It's
chance.
not anyone
I'll give a
else's.
chance for goodbyes between the party, between Rosa and the others, and then we'll do your escape checks first, and then we'll refer back to the party.
Well, I'll say to
Someone will tell
Rosa,
them you died by that zombie.
If you still
boy.
want to go with them, sorry, I should say if you still want to go with them, it's a complete valid decision.
yeah,
Yeah. No, still,
Yeah, I'll
still
say to-
going with them.
Good. Okay.
I'll come up to Rosa then and say, with her badge in hand, I'm gonna say, well, if things get too rough out here and you end up back in the city, this will be among my things and waiting on you when you get back. So just be safe.
Thank you.
All I can say. Maybe
Don't get killed
try
by
and
any of
hide
the
and wait
hordes.
this out instead of outrunning it. I don't know. That's what I'll
I don't think we can.
do. Oh,
It's a
well,
very
I
I'm-
dislike
I was
most of the
mainly
people
talking.
in the city. I don't dislike you, Rosa.
I appreciate that. I
Especially
spent-
more than those damn brats that took my tomatoes.
They were lovely.
Well, you could have been
quiet, good
nice.
children.
and they wouldn't have.
Fast. Tomatoes. But we need to get going.
I spent most of
We can
my
debate
life
this
being
later.
pessimistic, so seeing that life is possible this way, finding new ways of life, this is something to protect, and I have to do this. And if the city is forcing people to be machines instead of this, then I can't go back to that.
Yes.
Then let's go inform the others of our decision. What we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Ursino,
Emil,
Manuela,
barely knew, but best of luck.
the trio, hug all of you, just to show that they truly still have emotion. Besides intelligent thinking, that they still retain this peoplehood, this personhood. The four of you hop on the oxen, exactly the amount that the oxen can hold, with Felicia deferring the reins to you, Rosa, due to your training with constructs in the past, and just generally militia wrangling. Please make for me gear, or I'll actually take gear or flesh or steel for this. In any skill, if you have like a particular training in any of those categories, you can add that many cards, etc. I'm also imagining you'll probably need to push the limit, which is fine.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with dexterity.
Okay. Oh, so a Steam check. Okay, sure.
Which
So
is
Steam.
yeah, which is in Steam. Okay.
That's fine.
So I have a value success, 2 suit successes, and then I will
Press
push
the limit.
the limit. Now it's
No.
2 of hearts, so it doesn't add anything.
Okay. Still, 3 successes is more than enough. You wave your last goodbyes and you turn around as you bolt out of the compound. But because it's just the oxen, although it won't be comfortable for you in the long term, it's really, 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 really fast. You're able to expertly maneuver the reins over the overgrowth and escape down the railings, narrowly missing the southern part of the wave, maybe like the southernmost 100, kind of circling around and surrounding. A couple of them kind of lash out and grab, but Manuela takes the time to hand cards, but it like puts a card in each of their hands, when she passes by, and Orsino high fives them because although they are scared of them, they don't harbor any ill will, and they're not inherently fearful of their existence. In the end, they're all the same. Everybody's people here, and you guys flee down to the southern. Eventually, probably making it to the southern coast and in Sicily if you have a navigator and a pathfinder like Felicia. What a beautiful end to a long and storied militia career. Clive, and at this point you can be sure to hop in for fun and commentary. Don't feel like you can't say anything just because you're not there, quote unquote. Emil, Clive, and Gufo, let's do yours. You hop in with the one oxen. It's slower. You added, but there's one less person still. There's less oxen. You're trying to escape. All of you, please make your preferred, suit check. Let me know how many successes you got. Let's do another mass one.
Which suit, I guess, is the...
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Whichever preferred. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And then for this last one,
Cool.
whichever you think you can get the most with.
Alrighty.
I want some big rolls or big cards. Everybody can push the limit, everybody can go all out. 8 successes, let's go. Like,
if we're gonna do that, then I'm going to play. If it's with preferred stuff, then I'm going to use my gear. Then we use my gear skill, and then I'm gonna play a 2 of spades, and then I'm also going to push the limit, discarding a card.
yeah.
And that equals up to 8, though. So that's 2 successes on my part. Wait. Yeah, that equals up to 8. So that's 2 successes for Gufo.
And so with your training, you will expertly navigate the carriage, Clive. So think about what you want to do with those successes.
Yeah,
So I'm sorry. In other words, all suites are suite successes. But then it's just how many number successes you can get. That's really I should be clear about that. There are penalties. So that's why I'm having everybody roll, any suite they want.
Okay, so I got I've played gear. And
Doing
so
gear
I have
too. Okay.
Yeah. And so I've got so my skill is 5 for gear, and I've got I'm sorry, I'm just having trouble.
No, it's all right. Just what cards?
How many cards can I play?
What cards are you putting down? Yeah, so what I'm saying, it's up to you, right? If you can pick whatever you'd like, as long as you can give me like a literal, just one sentence justification for why it helps you leave. I don't care which training or which skill it is. So you can pick whichever one. That's what I'm saying. You can pick whichever one lets you put the most cards. Whatever you prefer.
Okay, yeah, and gear is
so the highest trained. So I guess like your highest trained sub skill.
Okay, yeah, out of the cards I have, yeah. So, yeah, I just have to play gear because that's the only one I think I can succeed on. So I think I got one. I guess just one success.
Okay.
Because it's a spade, the card I'm playing. Well, I could play multiple cards, right, to get 8 or more 8. As long as they're both spades.
As long as as long as you have something that gives you the ability to put down more cards. So if you pick something.
Okay, I got it. Okay, never mind then.
Yeah.
All right, so just one success then, and then I will.
And then you decide. And Emil. Think about that for a second, Emil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to then. So, if I want to play a card, can I then push the limit? I'm so confused about that.
Yeah. You can always do that. No matter what, you can always push the limit. In fact, Clive, actually, did you want to push the limit before?
Yeah, I
Discard
did.
a card and just draw one. Put it on
Okay.
top. See how it goes.
Oh, it was a 4 of diamonds. I don't think that
No.
does anything.
No, I don't think that. Yeah, Emil.
I am gonna
Sorry.
do
Yeah.
accuracy though, so they can't track us down. Like, because it
Okay.
says something about leaving no trace. So I think that
Sure.
would be handy.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Emil.
so I'll play my queen, which is equal to a 7 of diamonds.
Nice. Okay.
And then I'll burn this card, so the discard
Uh-huh.
push limit, because I can do that.
Mhm.
Draw the top
Yeah.
card, which is just a one. It's a 1. So that would give me
It's a 1, but
a numerical
yeah.
success
Okay.
of
So
8.
so you got
Plus
two. You got 2
the-
sweets. Yeah. So I'll just say you
Yeah.
got 2 sweet successes and 1 number success. So 3 for you. So let's go in order. Gufo, you said you had 2 successes. What? 2.
Yes. I had a numerical success and I had a sweet success.
No. I'm saying what do you want to use them on, and then I'll come up
okay.
with an art.
So
And then
I
I'll
don't
come up
know
with
if
an
this is
organic.
like meta. I don't know if this is meta, but you said there's like inhibitors right now for us. Then I would want to use one of my things on success and one of my things on cancellation to make it easier for us to like
Sure.
get moving quicker.
Okay. So I'll say that you kick off the oxen, and for that initial burst of time, the oxen, chugs as fast as 2, and for that extra success, and then I'll say that you actually, it's so powerful that it breaks past some of the underbrush and the overgrowth covering the floor. You don't have to go around it or slow down, and so that's a cancellation, right? So that's pretty good. Clive, you said accuracy.
Yes, I'm gonna do accuracy. Yes, so basically cover up our tracks somehow. Maybe
Sure.
maybe
Okay, great.
maybe divert us
Great
through
idea.
some sort of area that's hard to track.
So you, from the back, you're able to, like, almost like a mast, like you have like a lever that you're using to like move the carriage a little bit to kind of make the wheel path kind of slide
Mhm.
and run erratically so they can't follow it, and then you like throw off a bag of flour that like just
Got it.
completely covers it, and just like it just
Perfect.
blows up. Yep. And Emil, you're 3.
Yeah, I think I'm going to use my first one on persistence. Try to like get out some apples and give them to the ox, because the ox is now
Ooh.
a single ox pulling this way too large carriage, and there's not the
Okay.
second ox. I figure it might need some help.
Okay, persistence is good. So 1 persistence.
Yeah,
and...
then I'll use 1 on cancellation.
Okay,
To
perfect.
just cancel out other
Great.
effects if they come across.
Uh-huh.
And then I guess the final one. I want to say, I guess extension might be a move, but I'm not sure quite what to use that for.
You could extend. You could like. There's a lot of
I guess a
industrial.
combination of.
There's scrap that you took back as samples that was just in the chariot already being loaded. One of them is a propane tank. With your scientific knowledge, I'll let you pop it and get a little bit of depth perception. And just so pop it just a
absolutely.
little faster.
We
Okay,
talked about
great.
committing arson, so this works out.
Yeah,
I
talk
mean,
about
it's
it.
either
Here
gonna
it is.
be- Honestly, my first instinct was pop it then throw it. That's probably not what I should do, but I want to.
It's roughly the same. So yeah, you pop it, you create a huge jet stream that burns off the first like layer of thrush, like off of these like off the canopy. But it is enough to give you a push. In total, you have 1 success over the penalties after they've been canceled out. A persistence to make it to really hard line it, and you have your accuracy that prevents the horde from catching up. I will say that with that, it's enough. You've succeeded, right? You're already over, and the horde can't even track you. So it's not even like you're leading them back to the city, and this like, oh, we made it. Oh no, like there's a horde, right? Kind of like it's an actual success. So you're able to make it back to the city. You kind of rush in after 30 miles. It takes you about 2 hours to get there. You rush in, It's about 6 in the morning now. New dawn is breaking. You think about Rosa and your old friends and these constructs that you've met. As you pull up to Luca and Rosa, like whose units are asleep, or out doing drills or something, but they're still there waiting patiently for the mission report. And the three of you arrive. Welcome back, Rosa says. I'm so happy to see that you've made it and that you're safe. Please tell us what did you find? Anything special?
The horde.
We encountered some raiders on our way there, and some holdout in the place, but we convinced them to leave. So we managed to get some supplies for
There
you,
was
though.
also a
So-
horde of constructs. That was scary. Never seen.
Oh,
hell.
yes. Yes, about that. There's a bunch of feral constructs roaming around in the countryside.
Like
We managed to
400.
narrowly
It's
avoid.
a lot.
It was hundreds of them.
Suddenly, Rosa starts to burst into tears. Not like wailing, but like trying to hold it back and like it's like stifling. Like, where is Rosa? Are you saying that we lost her in the horde?
Yes,
Yes.
And she like
during
the
our
most
escape.
like just completely let her. Yes.
Emil goes yes,
Uh,
but like very badly at lying. Like, not
Here,
totally
here.
lost.
Here. Let,
yeah, totally died.
Let your
in the
boy.
horde. Let's set that straight.
Let your boy
Those exact-
deal with it. Well, let me
Rosa-
deal with
Quite
it because
tragic.
I think I might be able to succeed.
And I'm gonna pull out the I'm gonna pull out the badge and say, "This is what I
Oh
have
wow.
to remember her by."
Oh wow. Okay. She's gonna take the badge from you. Take her knife and like scratch it out. She's going to attach it like almost like put it into like a pocket that she's gonna cut out in the Florentine Technocratic Empire flag. Raise it. Play the bugle and call her entire corps out to do like a firing, like a firing immediately stat like.
Except it's
Um,
You
crossbow, so
better
it's just.
not come back now. If
At
Rosa comes
Elisa-
back now, it's gonna be
Elisa
really
Beta
disappointing.
Elisabetta is in the distance on a tower on a rampart on the city, looking down as the scene turns to everybody kind of, not really discussing anything of the deeper details of the matter, and letting it fade out as the guns fire around, and Elisabetta salutes, knowing that although there was a tragic loss of life, they did secure a satellite outpost for the future, and in fact, the objective was secured. The firing squad for the air, not for anybody in particular, starts firing, and it cuts to a new day breaking, as we will end our session for tonight.
Great.
So, thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of this. This is my first time playing a Forge in the Dark game, and Necrobiotic at large. I loved it. We're gonna go ahead and just do outros again, just like we did before, and then we'll hop off. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this. My name is Anthony. I was your machinist for tonight. You can find me at this Twitter link. Is where I do all my stuff. At Praying the Plague. Come hang out. I only talk about awesome TTRPG stuff. And video games, but mainly TTRPG stuff. I've been streaming on Weave the Tale a lot, so catch me next Wednesday for Avatar by Magpie Games, using the Quick Start for a one-shot, and the week after that, Delta Green, and then Chew. So I have quite a lot coming up on Weave the Tale. Don't hesitate to keep checking us out. And Rosa, Archival Dust Money, would you play us off or start us?
Yeah, so I'm Anna. I was Rosa tonight. Known around the internet, most places as Archival Dust Bunny. I'm an LGBTQIA plus advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG streamer. If any of that sounds interesting, you can find me on Twitter at Archival Dust Bun. When I'm not here playing one-shots on Wednesday, I'm normally over on Valdrin's channel playing an Animorphs-themed Blades in the Dark campaign. It's dark and angsty and full of 90s nostalgia. If you're not watching, you're really missing out. Sundays, I alternate between going to Hawking's channel at 1:30 Eastern, playing D&D 5th Edition in a world with 1930s technology. And opposite Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm on Guild of the Phoenix playing Cyberpunk Red. Have a lot of other very exciting projects coming up, games that I can't talk about yet, but one that I can talk about is Response Team Omnicron, which is a Lancer actual play podcast that is starting September 13th. You can follow us on Twitter. You can find us, it's RTO Omnicron is our Twitter handle, to catch the trailers that we have planned coming up, and then find that where you find your podcast normally. We'll be playing No Room for a Wallflower, which is a brand new adventure module released by the company. So it's going to be a lot of fun. The best place to find out where I'm streaming and when, though, is on my Twitter account.
Amazing. Such a full stack. So much stuff coming up. It's awesome to hear. And Halo?
It's so emotional, man.
Yes!
I'm
Yes!
I'm Sam, Sammy Sosa, Halo, doesn't matter. I forgot, I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but I kind of forgot to. Oh yeah, I also played Gufo Valik, and feel free to follow me on Instagram. I do movie reviews.
That's awesome.
At Samalama Ding Dong. That is SAMOLAMODINGDONG. They're mostly meant for comedy, but there are some bangers on there, and it was nice it was nice being on here and getting to play this really cool game.
Hype. One shitty bard up next.
Hi, I'm Dave. You can find me at One Shitty Bird on most social media, but frankly, I mostly use Twitter, where I mostly just rant about the state of inclusivity in physics and in TTRPGs. On Wednesdays, you can find me at Rolling These 20s, where I play Nara Huang, a doctor in the Cyberpunk Red campaign we have ongoing. And I think I have a couple other things coming up, but I don't know exactly where to find them because I just don't. So, peace.
And for one last time, last and but not least, Leopold the Just.
I think we can all say that I'm definitely the least after a full session.
Clive!
Now,
Stop putting yourself down, Clive!
No, I'm just kidding.
I think I count as the least because I was the one who was old for going back to the town. I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody was self.
We can both be the least then. Well,
Yeah.
all right.
Hell yeah.
So sweet loser club. All right. Now anyway, so yeah, no, I'm Leopold the Just or Leland or whatever, and you can find me at Leopold the Just on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and Steam. I don't know if you want to add me on Steam. I don't care. I played Clive Moore, the cop, right?
Basically, yeah. Essentially.
Yeah, and no, I had a great time. You can find me. I mean that though. I got a really, really good time. I always enjoy playing this game, but it was good. I got to play with everyone for the first time, and it was very fun. A lot of good role play and stuff. As far as where you can find me next, what's today? Today's Wednesday. All right, so in 2 days, Friday, on twitch.tv/TheRaven, that's RAVVYN. You can find me playing the season finale of our game Welcome to Madison. That starts at 7 p.m. Central on, again, twitch.tv/RAVVYN. That's the Black Feather Guild. It's a very, very fun campaign with an equally awesome group as this, so come and check it out. And then on Sundays on twitch.tv/AttackTrick, that's like Patrick but Attack Trick. Come and catch us at 7 p.m. again Central for an Urban Shadows 2 game. That's like another really good one with a really good cast. We play if you haven't heard of Urban Shadows yet, give it a whirl. Magpie Games made it. It's probably like my favorite tabletop RPG now. I just want to run it all the time. It's go and check it out. It's basically like if you're familiar with the World of Darkness games like Werewolf, Apocalypse, Vampire, Mage, all that stuff. It's like if you took like a Power by the Apocalypse game and made like a mixed World of Darkness like game out of it, where you could someone could be a vampire, someone could be a werewolf, someone could be a ghost, all this stuff. Like it's pretty much that. Like so much fun. Anyway, I just love that game so much. I could talk about it forever.
No, that
All right,
sounds
I'm done.
that sounds no, that sounds awesome, and Magpie is super hype. So I'm really happy to hear that
For
you're
sure.
enjoying that. Thank you so much again to Weave the Tale for having us on. Please go check out Necrobiotic on the backer kit and pre-order it if you haven't already. You get a chance to get it during the Kickstarter. And follow Mitch on Twitter to see more updates on Necrobiotic at large. I had an amazing time running it with everybody. Thanks so much for coming to see us. Till the next time, everybody.